First race of the night coming up then here in the Bergring in Teterow. Has been a real hot, humid couple of days. And as Kelvin mentioned earlier, there was the threat of thunderstorms all around the Bergring a little bit earlier. And we did say we'd be very fortunate to avoid it. And thankfully we have done. We've just had a few spits of rain. So we're about to get underway. 7 nations doing battle here this evening, including the USA, with the Grand Prix legend, the 4 times world champion, Greg Hancock. And we're about to get underway with heat number 1 next. First race of the night here. Welcome along to our UK viewers. Good to have you with us. Kelvin Tatum, former England World Cup winner, and also, of course, regular on the commentary scene, on the international scene here, and a specialist around the Bergring long track, and proved that yesterday. Kelvin, really looking forward to a bit of team riding at world level.
Absolutely, and it's going to be great to see some new nations. With Ukraine, not that familiar with their 2 boys. Of course, we're going to be very familiar with the man on the inside gate. The team managers will be able to allocate which way round they go. For example, Heat 1 and 3 were the American gates. They can choose where the riders go. So Hancock is going to go from the inside gate in the opening race. And the Ukraine team, very interesting to see how they get on.
3 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third, nothing for finishing last. But if he gets to count back, a bonus point effectively for second and third. Team riding is important. Hancock off the inside. Gate 2 is Karpov here. Gate 3 is the man in blue, Manzeras, and Loktaev goes off the outside for Ukraine. And the man off gate number 2, Karpov, really gets a flyer. And Christina Turnbull has already put the red light on for heat number 1 here at the Bergring.
Wow. He was very, very fortunate not to touch the tapes. I think his peak did touch the tapes as the tapes went up. Gino Manzeras, we've got a fabulous eye view of these tapes. You see it there with Karpov just jumping the start, a warning for him.
But Manzeras was moving.
He was rolling. The clutch looked like on his bike it was dragging him forward. And an untidy start to heat number 1. And now there'll be a delay. It's a warm evening. It cooled off when we had the cloud cover and there was a thunderstorm literally just to the south of us. But it's now the humidity is raised again and we have high temperatures here. They haven't had any rain here at the Bergring for 6 weeks. And it really is very different to the UK, that's for sure. But
well, when we got here, Kelvin, we looked around and you did say, didn't you, that ultimately if we avoid the thunderstorms around here, we're going to be very, very fortunate. And we have been fortunate.
Yeah, we have. When we arrived, it was very much following us into the stadium, but it's just drifted round. And we look like we're set fair for a clear evening. Heat number 1, they're just gently getting themselves back up to tapes. There's going to be some nerves with the younger nations or the less experienced riders at this level, and I think we saw clear evidence of that in heat number 1 with young Karpov there just charging the tapes. He knows he's got a 4-time world champion on gate 1, so he's got to feel that he needs to make something special out of gate 2.
Karpov is a regular in the Polish league with Rybnik. And he has got a warning to his name already, I can tell you. Christina Turnbull has issued a warning to the rider in the white helmet colour to sit still at the start. Gino Manzeras in blue had a hectic day yesterday. Rode in Glasgow for Scunthorpe, travelled all the way down to Gatwick Airport overnight, and got a flight this morning to be here for the Speedway of Nations. That's dedication for you. Luke Becker ruled out through injury for the USA. He is here with the USA side, gaining experience. Lance King, the team manager, was very keen to include Luke Becker, even as a non-rider, here in the Bergring tonight. So we'll try again with heat number 1. Second time of asking. It's team riding, remember. Second and third can be oh so important. It's the USA in the red and blue, Ukraine in the white and yellow. Hancock has made a good start now, and Manzeras is challenging Karpov up the inside, and the USA are on a 4-2. That'll do for them. Hancock, you can be sure, will look over his shoulder at some stage. Manzeras having a real go here, trying for third spot now. Second place in yellow is Loktaev, and Karpov will put Manzeras under pressure. Gino, who has raced for the USA before in the World Cup, but it's all about pairs racing tonight.
Indeed it is, and the textbook stuff from Hancock out in front. No surprise to see that. There was a clash early on with Manzeras forcing his way up the inside, trying to push Loktaev out of the way in the opening lap, but it hasn't worked out for him. He's back in third, but it's a heat advantage for America, and they'll be pleased with that. Karpov just losing out on the opening lap, but he's coming on strong out the back. Hancock is comfortable in front. He's got the race in his back pocket.
Yeah, Hancock looking super smooth, as you would expect for a 4 times world champion. And great to see him back in USA colours at this level, because he has taken a couple of years out of World Cup racing. But with the new format and the pairs, Hancock clearly feeling that he wanted to do his bit for his country, and they've made a winning start in the first race of the night. The USA have got a 4-2 win over the Ukraine in the opening race of the evening, inspired by Hancock, but Manzera's doing his job, keeping Karpov at the back as well. Good effort.
Absolutely a good effort, and it was quite a forceful opening lap from Manzera's. We'll see it again. The tapes are up and the bikes are powering to the first corner. As they get there, the boy on the outside, Lokteyev there, makes a really good fist of it. Here comes Manzera as he charges up the inside of Karpov, gets the better of him. Seeing it again, Greg Hancock has already looked to his right to look for his teammate. Almost as he dropped the clutch, Greg actually looked to his right, aware that he needs to be doing the team riding. Manzera is forceful on the opening lap, grabs that third place, and a 4-2. As you can see, the reaction from the leader of the USA, Hancock, is very pleased to get a 4-2. They're very keen to make the final, there's no doubt about that. Chatting with Lance King before the event, they want to go to Wrocław and enjoy the final over 2 days.
Well, we remind you that Poland are already in the final as the host nation, but tonight the top 2 after 21 heats will join them in Wrocław, and then we have a couple of race-offs to decide the third nation from tonight to go through to the final, which is over 2 nights, next Friday and Saturday in Wrocław, and you can be sure the atmosphere will be stunning there. Heat number 2 here sees Russia against Slovenia. Russia in the red and blue helmet colours, and Slovenia are in white and yellow. And it's just a reminder, 3 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third, but if you finish second and third, the count back can be vital for finishing second and third at the end of 21 races.
3 Grand Prix riders here, and Sayfutinov and Artem Laguta in good form. Zagar has very fond memories of the Burgering. He won the Grand Prix here last September when he was on that wonderful run of form that saw him secure his Grand Prix future. So Zagar knows the best way round here. Could be quite a tussle. Got to believe that the old man out here is Matic Ivacic, and he won't have the same experience and possibly may feel a little bit out of his depth in heat number 2. Gates 1 and 3 for the Russians. A lot of people's favourite for tonight, the Russians. Laguta and Sayfutinov could go a long way in this competition.
Yeah, and a lot of people saying they fancy them for the title overall. It is pairs racing.
Yep.
It's the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations, and it's heat number 2. Russia in the red and blue helmet colour, Slovenia in white and yellow. Laguta's made a good start, and Zagar is second, and Sayfutinov locks up on that first turn and just about maintains control of the bike. But now all the pressure on Artem Laguta, with Mati Zagar chasing him hard. Third in yellow is Matic Ivacic for Slovenia, and Emil Sayfutinov made a real hash of that first turn as Zagar takes up the chase here.
Well, Sayfutinov, I can't believe he stayed on board there. He turned himself inside out in the first corner. A little bit greasy. Zagar will push him really hard. This is a bonus, there's no doubt about that, for Slovenia, looking like a 3-all written all over it unless Zagar can find a way past Laguta. Laguta from the inside gate, work to treat. He's doing sterling work for the Russians, and he needs to. A lap to go. Zagar looking for a way through, but I just sense that Laguta should have this one covered.
Yeah, Artem Laguta has already made a big impression in 2 Grand Prix in Warsaw and in Prague. He's a terrific rider, and now Zagar's going to try the inside run, but Laguta's got enough pace. Laguta holds out there for the Russian side, but Mati Zagar and Matic Ivacic get a 3-all there. Because of Sayfutinov's error, which you can only put it down to, really, it must be an error in the first turn there. Yeah, absolutely. So 3 points apiece for those 2 nations. So USA lead on 4 after the first couple of heats here. 4 points to the USA, 3 to Russia, 3 to Slovenia, and 2 to the Ukraine after 2 heats.
Yeah, we'll just watch this first corner from Sayfutinov, just caught out by the greasy conditions in the first turn. Well, I can't really believe he stayed on board. Laguta, though, comes to the party for the Russians. He's out in front. It's a strong ride by Zagar in second place, but there isn't a lot of grip on the track at this early stage, and as hard as he tried, Zagar could not find a way. Again, we're looking at Seifutinov going backwards there, and he's very fortunate that the bike doesn't actually grip underneath him and chuck him off the back, and he'll be okay to continue later on. I'm sure we'll see much more from him, but a good tussle out in front with Laguta hanging on and picking up a vital 3 points, but a bonus 3 points and a 3-all here for Slovenia, and that may be useful later on, but quite a good tussle out in front.
Absolutely. Heat number 3 coming up, and it will be the Germans against Latvia. Here we see Laguta, terrific rider, made a real impression in the opening stages of the Grand Prix series. It is an early break for the Grand Prix this year, of course, after only a couple of rounds, and we'll be back at the end of this month in Horsens in Denmark for round number 3. But this week it's a hectic week of Speedway. Tonight here in Germany, Tuesday at Bellevue in Manchester at the National Speedway Stadium, and then next Friday and Saturday at Wrocław in Poland. Kelvin Tatum's former track in the Polish League days of your career, Kel.
Yes, absolutely, and they've had a huge makeover in Wrocław. It really is a spectacular stadium these days. A new track has been laid. I'm expecting something quite spectacular next weekend. Thoroughly looking forward to it.
Yep, heat number 3, Germany in the red and blue helmet colours here. Kai Hülkenberg is in red, and Martin Smolinski. We know all about Smolly. He is Germany's top rider. Well, he's in the blue helmet colour.
Absolutely, and both have Grand Prix experience here. They've represented Germany as wildcards in the Grand Prix. So Hülkenberg is a local lad. Smolinski is not. He's from the south of Germany, from the Bavarian region. So, but still a strong following for the Germans, and they are keen to make the final.
Andrzej Lebedev's in white and Kas Podzuks in yellow off gate number 4. Germany in red and blue, Latvia in white and yellow, and it's a good start from Hülkenberg off the inside. Ooh. And Smolinski has been squeezed out. Now charging hard around the outside is Kas Podzuks, but it's a good ride from Kai Hülkenberg leading the way for Germany. Smolinski is going to be wound up, and Smolinski charging hard up the inside here for third spot, battling for everything here, and Smolinski has come through. Martin Smolinski in blue has come through into third spot right now. It's Kai Hülkenberg the leader, second place Kas Podzuks for Latvia, third in blue is Martin Smolinski, who's being hunted down by Lebedev, who's a good rider. We've seen him in Grand Prix appearances do well, and a real battle for second developing now as well.
Yeah, real tussle for second, third and fourth. Big move from Smolinski early in the race to grab that vital third place. Lebedev's overdoing it on the outside. Got to say, Hülkenberg is away. That inside gate is really proving to be an advantage in the opening races. He's comfortable. Podzuks second, Smolinski third. That's a handy 4-2 for the Germans in their opening heat.
Yep, and it was Podzuks looking over his shoulder, trying to help his partner through Lebedev's, but Smolinski did enough, and Germany get a 4-2. And they're delighted with that. The home crowd really pleased with that start for Germany. From Hülkenberg, the race winner, Smolinski, who was really squeezed out early on, he was third behind Kas Podzuks for Latvia. So it's 4 points to Germany and 2 to Latvia. So Germany join the USA at the top of the standings on 4 points in the early stages. Latvia and Ukraine are on 2, and Russia and Slovenia are on 3 apiece.
Inside gate is working brilliantly in the opening heats. Got to say, Podzuks very nearly makes it from the outside, but there isn't much grip off the line at this early stage, and he can't get round the outside of Hülkenberg. Big move from Smolinski here. Watch him come underneath Lebedev's there. Really does charge hard into the third corner, and that he very nearly goes down there. He gets a clip on his front wheel from Lebedev's. That fires him up, and Smolinski comes charging up the inside and gets the better of Lebedev. It's a race-long battle. In actual fact here, just momentarily, it looked like the German Smolinski was going to steal second place away from the Latvians, but Podzuks responds. Podzuks was actually riding smart here. He's trying to slow the race down and give his partner every chance of getting the better of Smolinski. Just doesn't quite work out. These are the subtleties of team racing that we're beginning to see at the very early stages of the Speedway of Nations. Good stuff for the Germans though, 4 points in the bag.
Yeah, that will do nicely for them as we build up here to heat number 4 in the Speedway of Nations, and it is Denmark against the USA, so a second outing for the USA already, and the first time that we've seen Denmark. No Nicky Pedersen, remember. Niels Christian Iversen ruled out after having a successful shoulder operation in Barcelona on Monday. Should be back on a bike in a 10 days or so, a couple of weeks' time, Niels. So it's Kenneth Bjerre and Michael Jepsen-Jensen. Bjerre does ride in the UK for the Leicester Lions, and he's in the blue helmet colour here. And Michael Jepsen-Jensen up against Greg Hancock and Gino Manzarez, who had that long old haul south to Gatwick last night from Glasgow, and then the early flight out here to Germany today. Heat number 4 it is. Let's just take you through the gate positions. Off the inside in blue for Denmark is Kenneth Bjerre. Gate number 2 in white is Greg Hancock for the USA. Gate 3 red for Denmark is Michael Jepsen-Jensen. And off the outside in yellow, Gino Manzarez for the USA. So it's Denmark in red and blue helmet colours, USA in white and yellow helmet colours. Team racing, pairs action. Bergring in Teterow. Heat number 4, a little bit of movement at the start, but the referee has allowed it to go. And Hancock has got that lead, and Manzarez is trying to come round and join him now. And Denmark, we remind you, didn't even make the race off last year in the World Cup. And Manzarez has lost it, and that allows Denmark through to split this at 3 apiece, and Bjerre looks over his shoulder for Jepsen-Jensen.
Well, a scruffy start. I thought there'd be a red light, but there wasn't. And again, the riders again there were America. You've got to say that maybe the track experience, they were a little bit sharper there over the Danish boys, particularly with the Danish pair having gates 1 and 3. Bjerre is chasing Hancock, but Hancock is comfortable in front. Gino Manzarez, he threw second place away. He threw a 5-1 potential out of the door, but Hancock riding beautifully out in front. It's a delight to see him in the Speedway of Nations. Bjerre and Jepsen-Jensen under massive pressure for Denmark in a 3-all situation.
Yeah, this is a super ride from the old master. Greg Hancock in the white helmet colour for the USA, chased by Kenneth Bjerre, but no way through for Bjerre. Hancock was so dominant, but as you said, Kelvin, has to be said, a missed opportunity there for the USA. Gino Manzarez slipped up early on and allowed the opportunity there for Denmark to come through. It's a shared heats there, 3 apiece, so USA move on to 7, and that is the first appearance that we have seen from Denmark, and they are on 3 points.
They are indeed, and they'll be disappointed with this, because although it was a scruffy start, neither of them were very sharp away from the tapes. This man was exemplary. He makes a fabulous start. Look how clear he is from gate 2. It looked like the Danish pair was sleeping on the start there, with Gino Manzarez getting the better of them, but unfortunate for Manzarez, gets a little overexcited in turns 3 and 4. Shame we don't see it, because that was key to the race in truth, with the 5-1 on the cards for the Americans, and he slips out of the picture.
Just to let you know then, it's USA 7 after 2 heats, Germany 4, 3 apiece for Russia, Slovenia and Denmark, and 2 apiece for Ukraine and Latvia.
Gleb Czogunow razem z nami. Gleb, obserwowałeś swoich partnerów, świetnie pojechał Artiom. Jakie problemy miał Emil Sajfudinow, mówił ci?
Tak, mówił, że nie było dzisiaj opadów, ale nalali dużo wody, jakby były opady, nie? I po prostu nie wiedział, że ja myślę, że tam bardzo ślisko, nie? Poszło i tak wyszło, nie? To nie bardzo okej, ale ja myślę, chłopaki wyciągną, nie?
Czy to jest taki tor dla ciebie, dla młodego człowieka? Chciałbyś tu się pościgać?
Tak, chciałbym wyjechać, jak Rosja będzie mieć więcej przewagi, to ja myślę, może Sawin wypuści mnie parę razy, nie? Chciałbym pojeździć, tak, fajny tor jest, nie?
Dziękuję pięknie, tyle Gleb Czogunow.
Dzięki bardzo.
Well, Gleb Czogunow is a rider who's certainly impressed last year, and it was good to see. Here's the standings, just to confirm what I was saying before we went to the interview. USA 7, Germany 4 from 1 race, Russia, Slovenia and Denmark 3 apiece, the Ukraine and Latvia have 2. So the USA lead, but they have ridden 1 more race than everybody else.
Absolutely, that's a valid point, but it's a decent start for America. 7 out of 10 potential points is quite handy indeed. Seeing quite possibly the meeting favourites coming out for their second ride here, the Russians up against the Ukrainian boys, and they will be red hot favourites here, Laguta and Saifutinov. They'll be going from gates 2 and 4. Be interesting to see which way round they line up, but Saifutinov will be a touch embarrassed about what happened in his first race. He's genuine world class, of course. Both of them are. Laguta is a vastly improved rider these days, and 2-4 for them in their second outing up against the Ukraine. So they'll be looking to try and get maximum score here.
Heat 5 coming up, on the way. So, USA lead so far, and this one is Ukraine against Russia. Ukraine in the red and blue, Russia white and yellow and black. So here we go with heat number 5 in the Berg Ring in Teterow then, and going off the inside, of course, we have the inside gate in red is Andrei Karpov, going off the inside in red. Gate 2 in white is Artem Laguta for the Russians, and going off gate number 3 in blue is Alexander Loktaev for the Ukraine, and going off the outside is Emil Sayfutinov in yellow. So that's the lineup across the grid. Off the inside red, Andrei Karpov. Gate 2 in white, Artem Laguta. Gate 3 in blue, Alexander Loktaev. And off the outside in yellow, Emil Sayfutinov. The Ukraine are in the red and blue helmet colours, and Russia are in the white and yellow.
Yep, can't be any clearer than that, that's for sure. Artem Laguta, gate 2. Sayfutinov, gate 4. Red hot favourites for this one. Here we go.
Heat number 5 it is then. Movement at the start.
Again, Karpov.
Well, the race has been allowed to continue.
Oh,
Goodness me.
That's definitely unsatisfactory.
The red flags have come out, but I couldn't see a red light there. The flags have come out, and the red lights are flashing.
Had to be pulled back because Karpov, once again, on a warning. Get the feeling he'll be thrown out this time.
Yes, and there is no reserve for the Ukraine. Here we see it. Big night nerves.
Gotta say, Laguta gets away sharpish as well. He's watching him, of course, Karpov. Karpov, I believe, drops the clutch too early here, and he's very twitchy on the start. You can see that, and I think Christina Turnbull, the referee, he's lucky not to touch the tapes, but he's going to go anyway because he's already on a warning.
Yes, the information was that Karpov was given a warning, and the red light will come on for Karpov, and they cannot replace him because there is no under-21 rider available for the Ukraine to replace him. Bad news for the Ukraine.
Yeah, and it's a bad mistake because without a third rider in the camp, you can ill afford to make those sort of mistakes on the start line, and that time he didn't really have too much of an excuse. He had the inside gate, he's not looking at anybody, he's looking down at the magnet on the inside, and quite clearly he just feels a little nervous tonight, and you could see he twitched and went a little bit early, and the red lights came on. So bad news for Ukraine after a half sensible start, but Karpov will have to sit this one out. But an opportunity for Russia, of course. They will be looking for 5 points here, Russia, and really on paper they should get the big 5-1.
Disappointment then for Andrei Karpov of the Ukraine, feeling the pressure, and with no under-21 rider available to travel from the Ukraine for this meeting. It does mean that we have 3 riders only on the restart, and it does mean that Alexander Loktaev is the man for the Ukraine, and it is bad news because Karpov is the man with lots of experience.
Absolutely.
He rides in the Polish league, Kelvin.
Yes, so it is a big mistake, but the rules allow the riders then to switch positions on the start line if they so choose, and that's exactly what's happened here, Nigel. Loktaev originally was on gate 3. He will now go in blue from gate 1, which he is perfectly entitled to do.
Yep, so heat number 5, second time of asking. It does mean that the lineup sees the man off the inside in blue will be Alexander Loktaev. He's the man off the inside in blue. So Loktaev taking the inside gate in the blue helmet colour. Then we have Artem Laguta in white off gate number 2 for Russia, and Emil Sayfutinov going off the outside in yellow for Russia. 3 riders only, no rider off gate number 3. So the gate positions to confirm again. Loktaev off the inside for the Ukraine. Gate 2 in white is Laguta for Russia, no rider off 3, and Emil Sayfutinov off the outside in yellow for Russia.
Here we go.
Heat number 5. And they're away this time, and Loktaev has made a lovely start off 1, but Sayfutinov sweeps across nicely, locks up as well, but Loktaev really having a go. It's a 4-2 to Russia as things stand right now. Emil Sayfutinov has that advantage right now. Second place is Loktaev, on his own for the Ukraine, remember. and it's Laguta in third for Russia. 4-2 as things stand in favour of Russia.
Could be worse, you know, for Ukraine. Got to say, Loktaev used that inside gate well, and he's having a real go in second place, and Artem Laguta from gate number 2 hasn't been able to land a blow, and Russia are missing a trick here. Only a 3-all in their opening account. 4 points is okay, but I'm sure they would have fancied the 5 with the big 5-1 here. Saifutinov bouncing back in style from the outside, looking good, but all credit to Loktaev in second place. He's riding well.
Yeah, riding nicely and keeping Laguta at bay.
Yep.
Down that back straight, Laguta is running out of time here, but he's just following the line of Loktaev. Saifutinov, normal service resumed from him. The Russian rocket, second place in blue, Loktaev, and third was Artem Laguta. So Russia move on to 7 points now from 2 outings. Ukraine are on 4. So Russia join the USA on 7 points right now. Slovenia remain on 3, Germany on 4, Latvia on 2 and Denmark on 3, but Russia and the USA lock level at 7 points apiece at the top of the leaderboard. 5 heats gone here at the Bergring in Teterow. 2 points to the Ukraine, 4 to Russia, Saifutinov and Laguta, and it does mean that Russia and the USA are now on 7 points apiece from 2 outings, Ukraine on 4, and the other nations have only had 1 ride apiece.
Well, Russia are making hard work of it so far. A mistake by Saifutinov in his opening ride, and then Artem Laguta failing to get the better of that man, Loktaev, which I've got to say was an impressive ride, and I think that's what the Speedway of Nations is going to throw up. It's going to give opportunities like Loktaev at the highest level of racing to take some big scalps, and the scalp of Artem Laguta here in this ride is a really tasty one for him. Saifutinov out in front riding nicely, but Artem Laguta cannot find a way through into second place, and it would have been an opportunity to get the 5 points to try and stamp some authority on the meeting. As it turns out, they're level pegging with the Americans, which when you reflect on 7 points for America, that's a good start for them. But Saifutinov, all credit to him showing his class.
Up to heat number 6 we go, and I can tell you the next race is Slovenia against Germany. So Slovenia go up against Germany here in heat number 6. And the rider in blue, Matic Ivacic, has been replaced by Nick Skoja here, and Skoja has experience in the Grand Prix in his home country in Slovenia. This is the under-21 reserve, and he comes in as a replacement for Matic Ivacic. I can tell you it's Zagar off the inside, Smolinski off 2, Skoja off 3, Huckenbeck off the outside. It's Slovenia in the red and blue helmet colours, Germany are in white and yellow, and Germany have made a beauty. What a start from Smolinski, and Huckenbeck charging hard around the outside. It's Huckenbeck in white, Smolinski in yellow, Zagar is in red, and is third right now. Germany on a 5-1 as things stand. This is superb from the host nation of Event 1 of the Speedway of Nations.
Great stuff from Germany, really flew away from the tapes there, getting the better of Zagar, who was on the favoured inside gate. Got to say, Huckenbeck made a beautiful start from gate 2, looked for his teammate down the back straight, allowed Smolinski to come around the outside, and the Germans are looking good tonight. They look fast out in front. Pepe Rudolph, their manager, will be delighted with this. Well, it's looking like the first 5-1 of the night on the cards for the home team. Good stuff.
Well, they did say team riding comes to Teterow, and that's exactly what's happening here in heat number 6, because Huckenbeck and Smolinski are outpacing the world class of the Grand Prix man Zagar, a winner of the Grand Prix here in the Bergring, and that is a huge result for the home side. Germany, Martin Smolinski and Kai Huckenbeck deliver the goods over Mati Zagar for Slovenia. It's 1 point to Slovenia, 5 to Germany, and the host nation lead the meeting now on 9 points, courtesy of that big 5-1 from Smolinski and Huckenbeck in heat number 6 here in the Bergring. The result is a win for Smolinski. Second place was Kai Huckenbeck. 5 points to Germany, 1 point to Slovenia, with Mati Zagar getting third place and Nick Skoja at the back. Just to confirm the standings then, Germany do lead now on 9 points, the USA on 7, Russia on 7. A reminder, the top 2 automatically go through to the finals over 2 nights on Friday and Saturday in Wroclaw, and then we have a couple of runoffs effectively here shootouts at the end of the night to establish a third qualifier.
Great stuff from Germany. Kai Hülkenberg does the damage going to the first corner, getting the better of the Grand Prix star Zagar, who is on the inside gate. Hülkenberg allows his teammate then around the outside, and they ride very well together here. And you've got to give Germany credit. They had speed. They pulled clear of Zagar, and I expected Zagar to really be amongst it, trying to force his way back through to the front, but it's not the case. Germany get the big 5-1. They're on 9 points. A great start for the night for the Germans, and another team that will be very keen to make the final. And here at home in Teterow, with a lot of experience, they've made a fine start.
Absolutely. As we build up to Heat 7, this is Denmark against Latvia.
Yeah.
It's
well,
superb action here. We have the World Cup football coming soon, of course. Everybody's talking about that. But here we have team riding at world level in Speedway, and it is Denmark versus Latvia. Denmark in the red and blue helmet colours. Latvia are in the white and yellow helmet colours here. Across the grid, I can tell you it's Jepsen Jensen for Denmark off the inside in red. Gate 2 is Podzuks for Latvia in yellow. We're talking about the helmet colours here. Gate 3 blue is Kenneth Bier for the Danes, and then going off the outside for Latvia is the man in the white helmet colour, Ante Lebedevs.
Interesting scenario here. It was Latvia and Lebedevs that put play to Denmark's chances of making the race off last year when Lebedevs beat Iversen to clinch their place in the race off. So Denmark looking for revenge here tonight. Jepsen Jensen and Bier must be favourite.
Yep, heat number 7, the Danes are very fast starters. Jepsen Jensen, oh, it's very nervous at the start, and they've just about got away, but I have to say the man in yellow, Podzuks, was very nervous and very edgy, but look at this down the back straight. Great ride here from Jepsen Jensen. Second place in white is Lebedevs, and Kenneth Bier holding the inside line for third, but under huge pressure from Latvia's Kas Podzuks. Denmark are on 4, and Latvia on 2, but here comes Bier up the inside for second spot. Denmark 4, Latvia 2, as things stand right now.
Tight first corner there, Jepsen Jensen having to be very forceful to stop the run of Lebedevs going well in second place. Bier working hard in third, beginning to push. Podzuks just out of the picture. Handy 4-2 for the Danes. They'll be looking for this. They need this, really. They need to stamp authority. Bier's working hard, desperately looking for a way through to get the better of Lebedevs. Jepsen Jensen looking for his teammate, but he can't do much there out in front.
Yeah, Jepsen Jensen has looked over his shoulder, but Bier is going to try one last swoop around the outside. Jepsen Jensen trying to slow things down. Oh, nearly punishes it himself.
Well, nearly threw it away.
Wow.
That was tight on the run to the line. Jepsen Jensen hangs on, but he was, well, very, very tight as they completed the race. May have been working a bit too hard. He nearly turned a 4-2 into a 3-all there, the Danes, but they do hang on, but it was very close and very tight indeed. They're pleased with the 4-2, but got to say that Denmark are making hard work of it at this stage, and a strong ride from Lebedevs.
Yes, Bier in third spot there in the end. Jepsen Jensen looking over his shoulder. This is what team riding is, and Bier not in contention there. Jepsen Jensen just about holds out. It's a 4-2 for the Danish side there, managed by Hans Nielsen, the legend. Hans Nielsen, great rider he was, and saw him looking at the start earlier as though he fancied getting his leathers and his helmet on again and the goggles. It really is good to see Hans here, and another former rider.
Pair of goggles, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we see it again.
Look at him looking over his shoulder,
slowing it down, but I don't think he appreciated how fast Lebedevs was coming. I think he's a touch fortunate there, you know, and he could easily have thrown that away and turned a 4-2 into a 3-all. It's not the case, and as hard as he tried, Jepsen Jensen, to manipulate the result at the end of the race, it just didn't quite work for them. But they're on 7 points, and that's a decent start.
Some great team riders down the years. I mean, when I was going to Cradley every week, it was Hancock and Hamill. Wolverhampton every week was Ermolenko and Corrie. You know, Peter Collins and Chris Morton, Bellevue legends, and ironic they were world pairs champions in '84, and we're in Bellevue, Manchester on Tuesday night as well. That world famous club, the Bellevue Aces, at the National Speedway Stadium.
Wow.
There have been some wonderful, wonderful partnerships down the years, Kel.
Yeah, there is, and in every team you'll find two guys will click and they'll get this sixth sense about riding together. I remember when I rode for Coventry, it was John Jorgensen and Ricky Miller in the...
A Manzarek ma coś dorzucić, tak? Wiemy tutaj, że para
No
rosyjska...
pokazał już, że może tutaj nawet bardzo dużo dorzucić, tylko no błędy. Jest...
Błędy. Błąd gonił błąd w jego ostatnim biegu, ale trzeba tutaj dodać, że Amerykanie jadą z Rosjanami. To są koledzy z toru, z ekstraklasy, może już nie w tym roku, ale w Grand Prix. Cała trójka się spotyka w Grand Prix i widać, że tutaj Hancock naprawdę chce tutaj...
Poczekaj, w Pucharze Świata też Gino Manzarek też brał udział w Pradze, wtedy słynny defekt, który miał zrobić, to było całe zadanie Gino Manzaresa, wówczas nie tak doświadczonego, wrócił po roku przerwy na Wyspy Brytyjskie Gino Manzarek, no i tutaj w Teterow akurat może czuć się swobodnie, bo tak jak wspomnieliśmy,
Troszeczkę angielski ten tor, może
tak.
nie aż tak bardzo, za mało wody może jeszcze, za mało zbronowane, zarówno za ładnie jak na angielskie tory, więc, ale widać, że czuje się naprawdę dosyć dobrze. Ma partnera Grega Hancocka, który mu na pewno dużo tutaj podpowiada i pomaga.
Gino Manzarek z pierwszego pola, obok niego Artiom Łaguta, Greg Hancock na trzecim i z czwartego pojedzie Emil Sajfudinow, a więc kończymy drugą serię startów. A i tam się chyba delikatnie czołgał Gino Manzarek, ale to już nie jest tak istotne jak to, co wydarzy się teraz. Manzarek na razie na prowadzeniu, szeroko wypuszcza się Artiom Łaguta szeroko zostawia mu miejsce Manzarek, ale broni się mimo wszystko. Jest w miarę szybki Manzarek czy Łaguta, dojeżdża jeszcze Greg Hancock, który po prostu zajął się Emilem Sajfudinowem. No i teraz tak jakby próbowali się ustawić w parę, czy odczyta te intencje Gino Manzarek, chociaż tutaj będzie Greg Hancock jeszcze szarpał, jeszcze gonił Artioma Łagutę. Pytanie, czy Manzarek da radę z Emilem? Nie, Emil Sajfudinow jest szybszy i na razie 4-2, ale znowu gdzieś tam problemy Artioma Łaguty i dojeżdża błyskawicznie do niego, przykleja się niemalże jak cień Greg Hancock do Artioma Łaguty. Manzarek daleko z tyłu, goni jeszcze Emil Sajfudinow Grega Hancocka, to wszystko za plecami Łaguty, ale szybki jest Artiom Łaguta, że pomimo tych problemów jest cały czas na prowadzeniu. No i 4-2 nam się szykuje w pojedynku rosyjsko-amerykańskim. 3 Łaguta, 2 Hancock, 1 Emil Sajfudinow, no i Gino Manzarek, który znowu zostawił po sobie dobre wrażenie, ale punktów nie przywiózł.
No wrażenie to troszeczkę za mało.
No
tak?
w tych zawodach tej rangi na pewno.
Zdecydowanie trzeba powiedzieć, że zaskakuje nie tylko nas, ale pewnie wszystkich, którzy oglądają to spotkanie. Dobra postawa, dobry start. Tutaj na powtórkach zobaczymy, jak fajnie sobie poradził. No troszeczkę widać tutaj mało objeżdżenia, tego doświadczenia z tak dobrymi zawodnikami, jakim jest Emil Sajfudinow czy Artiom Łaguta. Słabszy start Sajfudinowa, ale później ta jazda też nie zachwyciła. Artiom Łaguta mimo tego błędu miał dosyć sporo metrów przewagi nad Hancockiem i jeszcze zdołał uratować te 3 punkty. Na powtórkach na pewno tutaj to zobaczymy.
Well, good stuff. Got to say that Russia are beginning to make their way. They haven't managed to get a big 5-1 in the bag yet, but a 4-2. They've had 2 consecutive 4-2s after a 3 all in the opening race when Sajfudinov had that moment in the first corner. Strong ride from Łaguta here to get the better of Gino Manzarek. Not a lot of racing room there. Has to just keep the throttle on though down the back straight. Gino Manzarek was given the better gate here. I'm wondering whether that was wise in hindsight. They nearly pulled it off here, you know. If Gino had just had a touch more speed, they would have had a heat advantage. Got to say that Artem Łaguta is a touch fortunate here. Just hits a little rut here and the bike lifts very violently underneath him. There you see it. Great motorcycle skills from Łaguta, not only to save that but to hang on out in front with Hancock chasing him hard in second place. But another heat advantage to the Russians, and Łaguta and Hancock just having a bit of a shaking of hands at the end of the race. But a bit of added excitement for Mr. Łaguta in midway through the race. But yeah, it's beginning to take shape. I think we're beginning to get the hang of things, understanding that team ethic is very important and riders looking for one another. Good stuff.
Yep, and Hancock and Łaguta, good to see. Talking about clearly Artem referring to the moment he lifted there and managed to stay on the bike and maintain the lead.
Pretty calm character, Mr. Łaguta, but he may have just had a bit of a flutter there as he went through that corner. And Łaguta is a really tidy rider these days and seems to have matured into a real world-class performer. Not quite the same in Polish, is it? Happy birthday. They need about a paragraph to get to it. But happy birthday to Greg for tomorrow. He'll be 48 years young.
Caught me up.
He has, and there's no doubt there seems to be plenty of fire in the belly still. Riding really nicely after a really nasty shoulder injury last season.
Same age. He's on the track and I'm in the commentary box.
Yeah, I'm not going there, Nige. Not going there.
He's a bit fitter than me, isn't he?
Only marginally. Only marginally.
You're being kind, Calvin.
I am. I saw you huffing and puffing coming up the stairs earlier today.
Yeah. Gino Manzarek and Greg Hancock talking there with Lance King, the team manager. Decent crowd tonight as well. It's fair to say that it's never going to be as big as a Grand Prix crowd here at the Bergring, which is always a sellout, thousands and thousands. But a decent amount of people that have made the effort to be here tonight.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not the most affluent part of Germany, and they had a big meeting here 2 weeks ago on the grass track and a Speedway meeting. So they've got a Grand Prix coming here later in the season as well. So not easy always to attend all the big races because they aren't. They can be, a little bit more expensive to attend. But as you rightly say, there are people through all the way around, and it is a big open arena, so it can be deceptive how many people there. Zagar waiting patiently for Slovenia. It'll be interesting to see who partners them here this time. Is it Ivicic or Skorja? I think it's Ivicic back in this time. The under-21 has had one run, but he's now been swapped for Ivicic for the upcoming heat. Zagar, a touch disappointing last time, got out-battled. And he'll want to do better than that. He has great memories of Teterow. He really did turn on the style here last year in the Grand Prix. Very different conditions, of course, because it was very wet that night and grippy. And Zagar adapted to those conditions very well. But here's Karpov. Karpov has been touchy and nervous on the start so far tonight, Nigel, and he needs to settle down a touch, doesn't he?
Very much so, yeah. I do recall the Grand Prix last September. It stopped raining just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
If it had carried on raining any longer, we'd have been in trouble.
Absolutely.
For that Grand Prix. But anyway, here we go. Heat number 9. And a big race for Ukraine. They need to behave themselves at the start and give themselves at least a chance. Here we go. Here we go with heat number 9 then at the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations, event 1 here in the Bergring in Teterow, Germany, where it's Russia who have the early advantage on 11 points. This race is Slovenia against Ukraine. Slovenia in the red and blue helmet colours, and the Ukraine will be in white and yellow helmet colours. Mati Zagar goes off the inside in red for Slovenia. Gate 2 in white is the slightly impatient Andrei Karpov, who needs to behave himself at the start. Gate 3 in blue for Slovenia, Matic Ivicic. And going off the outside in yellow is Alexander Lokteev for Ukraine.
Interesting lineup this, because both these teams are outsiders, there's no doubt about that. There's one standout rider, the Grand Prix rider is Zagar. He's on the inside gate, got to be a potential winner here. So Ukraine, if they can't hit the front, or ideally they want to, they then need to battle hard to make sure they get a 3-all to try and square the race. Interesting times.
Yep, here we go with heat number 9 then. The green line is on. And Mati Zagar's made a decent start off the inside gate here. He's got the advantage early on, but the Ukraine are packing the minor placings. Zagar has the lead. He looks over his shoulder, but he'll realise his partner Ivicic is well and truly at the back. Second place here in white is Andrei Karpov, and Lokteev for the Ukraine is third. As things stand then, it's a 3-all right now, but the Ukraine have second and third, which can prove advantageous if they get a chance later on to challenge for a real run-off situation.
Absolutely, and this is how it's panned out. Second and third are important for the Ukraine. Zagar, of course, he is the standout rider, and so it's proving to be. The inside gate worked nicely after the track grade. Zagar is bouncing back, looking very silky smooth out in front. As I say, Ukraine, Karpov this time was more disciplined, wasn't quite so much in a hurry, and he waited for the tapes to go up.
Yep, so Zagar is going to take the checkered flag. It's a share of the spoils. 2 outsiders here, Slovenia and Ukraine, and that's how it's proved to be. As Kelvin predicted, it's a 3 apiece in heat number 9. 3 points to the Ukraine, 3 points to Slovenia, 7 points apiece now for those two nations. who really are outsiders. But of course, a reminder tonight, the top 2 nations go through to the final in Poland next weekend. Then we have 2 runoffs to decide, they are knockout runoffs, to decide the 3rd nation to go through to Wrocław in Poland. The final of this tournament, pairs racing, it's the Speedway of Nations. The final will be over 2 nights, next Friday and Saturday in Wrocław. And a reminder, event 2, including the British side with Ty Wofford and Craig Cook and Robert Lambert, is in Manchester on Tuesday. Get along there if you can.
Yeah, looking forward to it very much. We see Zagar making light work of this race, really. He has a look for his teammate out of the first corner, but he's not there. He knows he's on his own out in front. He's just got to put his head down and win the race as comfortably as he can. Karpov there working hard. His teammate Shane Guard's falling off at the same time as well. Bits and pieces flying everywhere for a moment. But Zagar is an elegant rider. He, when he's in full flow, he is a smashing rider to watch. And as much as he wanted his teammate to be with him, it wasn't to be. And Zagar, after 3rd place last time, picks up 3 points. It's going to be tough for the Slovenians, but they'll do their very best. But Germany are out again, and Germany are the only team to have got a 5-1 on the board so far. Can they replicate it once again here, Nige?
Top 2 go through straight to the final next Friday and Saturday, and Russia and Germany are looking good at the moment. But this is an important race because Denmark will be strongly fancied as well. It's Germany here in the red and blue helmet colours, and it will be Denmark in the white and yellow helmet colours. Off the inside in red is Kai Hülkenberg for the Germans. Gate 2 in white for the Danes is Michael Jepsen Jensen. Gate 3 blue is Martin Smolinski for Germany, and Kenneth Bier for Denmark is going off the outside. Quite an important race, this one, Kel.
Yeah, this is quite a clash, you know. Germany will be full of confidence after the last race. 5-1 to their name, and their last outing rather, and they've got gates 1 and 3, so Denmark needs to really dig in here. One of the pre-meeting favourites, Denmark. Big race, this one.
Yep, heat number 10. Away we go. And it's a super start from Hülkenberg off the inside gate. Jepsen Jensen is there. Bier's going around the outside. Smolinski! Martin Smolinski up the inside for Germany. Here comes Jepsen Jensen. Oh, he's going to take out Hülkenberg wide towards the fence. Great ride from Jepsen Jensen. Super stuff, and Bier's come through. 4-2 Denmark. They were on a 1-5 and now they're on a 4-2. But you can be sure that Hülkenberg will push Bier hard up the inside into turn 3.
Brilliant stuff. This is action-packed race of the night so far. Jepsen Jensen very forceful on the opening lap to get a better of the Germans. Smolinski's now back into 2nd place, and Pierre, after a real tussle with Kai Hülkenberg, is now into 3rd place. 4-2 to the Danish team, showing real result here in heat number 10. Jepsen Jensen really meant business on that opening lap.
Well, Jepsen Jensen is looking over his shoulder now, but nothing to do with teamwork here, because he really had to work hard for the victory. Down to the line as well, to the line. It's a 4-2 to Denmark.
Yeah.
That is a good result for the Danes.
Yes.
Jepsen Jensen really worked hard there. It was tough, uncompromising, and Bier did his bit. There was no cohesion in terms of teamwork there, but Denmark did the job with 2 individuals showing what good riders they are.
Yeah, they really dug in. And the reaction from the management team at the bottom of the ramp, delight there, because they really needed to work hard to get the better of the Germans.
4-2 to Denmark. Jepsen Jensen first, Smolinski second, Bier third. 4-2 to the Danes. That moves them on to 11 points now, Denmark, with Germany and Russia. 3 nations on 11 points apiece. Remember, only the top 2 automatically go through, and then in heats 22 and 23 we have race-offs on a knockout basis to decide who goes through. 4th v 5th in heat 22. The 3rd place team goes straight through to heat 23. They will meet the winners of heat 22, and then the winners of that heat 23 will join the top 2 in the final.
Great stuff here from Jepsen Jensen down the back straight. Steams underneath Kai Hülkenberg, who charges out. Kai Hülkenberg then gets relegated to the back. That really was a very strong move from Jepsen Jensen. Kenneth Bier then momentarily overtaken by Hülkenberg, but he can't hang on to it, the German, and Bier read it beautifully. Comes back into a very important 3rd place. as they pick up the big 4-2. Here we see it earlier on in the race. This was a tough race, a tough move from the Danes, really fighting hard for the big points here, and Jepsen Jensen comes up with a really super ride to pick up 3 points. His teammate back in third, 4 points to the Danes, and they needed it.
No Niels Christian Iversen or Nicky Pedersen in the Danish side. Pedersen, of course, 3 times world champion. Niels Christian Iversen out, having recovery time from a shoulder operation in Barcelona on Monday. And heat number 11 is Latvia in the red and blue helmet colours against the USA in the white and yellow. Off the inside in red is Andrei Lebedevs for Latvia. Gate 2 in white is Greg Hancock, the legend, for the USA. Birthday boy tomorrow. Gate 3 blue, Kaspar Zooks for Latvia. And going off the outside is Gino Manzarek for the USA. Big race coming up here.
Yeah.
Heat number 11. The USA are on 9 points from 3 rides. They could do with a heat advantage here, but they're off gates 2 and 4. And they are depending big time on Greg Hancock off gate number 2. And Hancock has made a decent start off gate number 2. He's got the drop now. Can Manzarek get around the outside? Gino Manzarek, oh, he's just locked up. And to be fair, Podzooks looked over his shoulder and spotted him as well. It's a 3-all as things stand, but the Latvians have second and third, which we remind you can be advantageous. Gino won't give up though at the back for the USA, putting a bit of pressure on Kaspar Zooks here. Down the back straight they go.
Yeah, but this is good for America as well, Nige, because certainly the 3-all, they're looking good, they're hanging in there. Gino Manzarek just a little bit outclassed at this level, you've got to believe. Hancock making light work of it out in front. Lebedev's giving chase. Podzooks just tailed off in third place. 3-all good for both teams, I believe. And with a lap to go, once again, Greg Hancock looking really smooth out in front. Good ride from him.
Yeah, he's making it look easy. He's going to move on to 11 points from 4 rides for the USA. Greg Hancock making it look simple. Looks over his shoulder, but again he can see his teammate and partner Gino Manzarek is at the back. So second for Lebedevs, third for Podzooks. It's a 3-all there. USA now, they are winning races courtesy of Greg, but they are on to 12 points. Latvia get 3 there, they move on to 7. So USA are in the mix. They might just sneak something in one of the knockout phases here. They're not going to go through in the top 2, I think it's fair to say, but they're in contention for one of the knockout heats late on to establish who goes to Poland as the third qualifying nation from tonight. Now, 12 points for the USA, 1 ahead of 3 nations who have a race in hand of them.
Absolutely, but the other nations have a race in hand. But United States, you're right, they will have a chance with race-offs going down in Heat 22, of course, to the 4th and 5th nations. So time will tell whether USA make that, but on the evidence of this, and with such a quality rider like Greg Hancock, who makes this race look very straightforward, he won very comfortably. Just can't quite get Gino Manzarek in the points as well, but Hancock's bike working really well because he had quite a fight there to get to the first corner to get the better of Lebedev's. And when you get down to those sudden death races at the end of the night, having a rider of Hancock's quality could prove to be very decisive. Be interesting to see how it works out, but the Americans hanging on there with 12 points.
Yep, a reminder, we go to the UK on Tuesday night at the National Speedway Stadium in Manchester, where Great Britain will be in action. Australia will be in action as well at the home of the Bellevue Aces, and Ty Woffenden making a rare appearance on British Shale on Tuesday night alongside Craig Cook, who rides a Bellevue of course, and Robert Lambert, who our British viewers will have seen in action on Monday night for Kings Lynn at Rye House, scoring 17 points. He's the under-21 reserve for Great Britain. Tickets remain on sale for the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations in Manchester at Bellevue on Tuesday evening. That is going to be some night at one of the world's greatest tracks, which is what the National Speedway Stadium is.
Brilliant.
There's no
track.
question there.
Absolutely, got to agree. We've seen some fabulous racing there already, and it was an outstanding World Cup a couple of years ago. Really looking forward to Tuesday and seeing how we get on. Big race again here as well with the Germans out again. They haven't had much time to reflect on their tussle with the Danes. Just a couple of races ago, they've got Ukraine and Karpov and Loktaev going off gates 1 and 3 here, with Germany going off 2 and 4. But Germany are battling hard, and you've got to believe they're going to be in the mix tonight.
Yes, and here we see heat number 12, Ukraine against Germany. By the way, on Tuesday in Manchester at 7 o'clock, you can add Sweden with Freddie Lindgren. And a little bit of a ding-dong expected between him and Ty Woffenden after their coming together in Prague last weekend. They will go head-to-head in Manchester. Czech Republic, great to see France as well. And they've got David Belego and Dimitri Berge for France on Tuesday night. That's going to be great to see. Australia, Italy and Finland.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to see riders that ordinarily wouldn't be able to be in this level of competition. And Belego and Berger are two riders that on the big track in Manchester will pull a few surprises.
Well, we saw Belego ride well for Swindon at Bellevue live on TV.
Absolutely.
Should be good.
Sure.
Heat number 12. It's the Ukraine in the red and blue helmet colours. Germany, the host nation, are in the white and yellow. And what a start that is from Luktev for the Ukraine side. But here comes Germany now. Luktev goes wide. Doesn't allow any room whatsoever for Martin Smolinski, who's at the back now. The lead is with Kai Hülkenberg. Smolinski now is going to have to work hard to split the Ukrainian duo here now. Smolinski is the man in yellow. Watch him go for Germany. He's marooned at the back. The lead is with Hülkenberg, but Smolinski has lost ground there. It's a 3-all as things stand.
It is indeed, and as hard as Smolinski tried, he couldn't get round the outside. Team riding there from Ukraine, they really made it hard work. Now Smolinski chopping back to the inside. Smolinski pushing hard.
Not enough.
Very nearly getting the better of Luktev. Now really tight. Smolinski pushing so very hard, desperate to get that third place into the last lap. Smolinski's just about got there. One big blast from Luktev around the outside. Not going to do it. Brilliant ride from Smolinski.
Yeah, really had to work hard there. Smolly for Germany. Seen in the UK with Coventry and Birmingham down the years. And he's a popular character wherever he goes. And has just pulled off a third place, which was important there. Kai Hülkenberg of Germany, who rode in the UK for King's Lynn Stars last year. It's a win for Hülkenberg. A real battle. 4 points to Germany there. Just what the doctor ordered for Germany on that occasion. They move on to 15 big points now and are looking good.
Absolutely they are, and I've got to say that they battled very hard there. And that point that Smolinski got there was absolutely vital in the context of the overall result. Really good effort from Germany.
Germany on 15, they lead the meeting. USA are on 12, but watch out for Russia and Denmark just behind them with a race in hand on 11 apiece.
We'll watch it again. Kai Hülkenberg riding well. He has matured as a rider in recent seasons. And I've got to say, riding here tonight, he has proved to be a terrific pick for his country. We're watching Karpov there. Alexander Karpov on the inside. Oh, he snakes violently away from the tapes, and that puts paid to his chances. Got to say, that was a dreadful start from Karpov. Tough first corner there from Luktev. He really did leave Smolinski with very little racing room at all in that opening lap. But credit to Smolinski here. He battles hard and he gets the better of Luktev later on in the race, round the inside. And that's a vital third place and a 4 points collectively for the Germans after a 5-1 earlier on, moving on to 15 championship points. Got to say that they really do mean business, and they must have a good chance of being in the top two and going to Wroclaw. Kai Hülkenberg looks really impressive this evening.
Yes, 12 heats gone here at the Bergring in Teterow. And Germany on 15 could get tight for second spot, and then we have the knockout heats.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't be surprised at all, Nige, that we have a countback scenario this evening. You know, teams are dropping points, nicking points off one another, so we'll have plenty of interest after 21 races. We need 14 heats. I read actually the regulations earlier on, Nige, and we do need 14 races to get a result. So if we did have a downpour...
Well, you were looking at thunderstorms when you looked at that, didn't you?
Well, I was. And it was forecast. We've been very fortunate. They haven't arrived. Just a moment for people to relax, because track grading and a pause between 12 and 13. And we've got the Russians coming up against Latvia in heat 13. That could be quite a tussle. Those boys will know each other very well. And an interesting night. And some good performances from riders. Look at Hancock on 11, Hülkenberg on 8, Jepsen Jensen on 7, Lebedev's 4. One or two boys. Manzara's struggling a little bit for America. If they could get him going, to support Hancock a little bit more, and who knows, then America could well be in the mix to try and sneak into the finals at the end of next week in Wrocław, which will be a fabulous venue for the two-day final. But Denmark have just struggled a little bit in recent years, so Michael Jepsen Jensen and Kenneth Bjerre, the whole team will be very keen to make the finals. They don't want the embarrassment of missing out. So work still to be done for Denmark on 11 points, but they're heading in the right direction. We see it now, Nige.
Yep, Germany on 15 with USA on 12, very much in the mix, but Russia, Denmark, they're waiting to pounce. They're on 11 points each and they have a race in hand.
Yep.
And that's significant.
It is, it's significant, and Russia and Denmark would have been two of the pre-meeting favourites to go through as 1 and 2 tonight and go straight to the final. So wouldn't be a surprise to see them leapfrog up the table, but I've got to say that Germany are riding well. No real surprise here at home, but there seems to be great continuity in that team, good understanding between the riders, so keep an eye out for the Germans as the night goes on.
Yep, Russia and Latvia going head-to-head here. Heat number 13, Laguta and Saifudinov up against Lebedevs and Podzuks for Latvia. Heat number 13 it is then. And Russia strongly fancied pre-meeting here, but they've been a little bit inconsistent. They haven't dominated,
no,
and they perhaps have some concerns here over Lebedevs and Podzuks, who we know on their day are more than capable of springing a surprise or two. Heat 13 is next. Here we go with Heat 13 at the Bergring in Teterow then, and it is Russia in red and blue against Latvia in the white and yellow helmet colours. Artem Laguta is off the inside gate in red for Russia. Gate 2 in yellow is Kats Podzuks for Latvia. Gate 3 in blue is Emil Saifudinov for Russia, and going off the outside in white is Ante Lebedevs for the Latvians. As things stand right now, Latvia are on 7 points, Russia are on 11. The leaders of the meeting, Germany, are on 15, but Russia strongly fancied. A reminder, the top two straight through to the final. Poland are already there as the host nation. Wrocław over 2 nights, next Friday and Saturday. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
When the competition, I'm sure, will really come alive. Well, it'll come alive in Manchester on Tuesday as well, I'm sure.
Well, we hope so.
Rare opportunity for British fans to get along and see Ty Woofenden on home shale, the twice world champion for Great Britain on Tuesday evening in Manchester. But yeah, next Friday and Saturday in Wrocław is really going to be a terrific 2 occasions. Heat 13 it is then. Can Russia do it here from heat number 13, or will Latvia prove to be the spoilers? Heat 13, Christina Turnbull with a finger on the button and got away first time. And it's Artem Laguta off the inside gate. And now Saifudinov is going to have to chase hard after Kats Podzuks. Lebedevs is the man stranded at the back, but it's a 4-2 to Russia as things stand. Saifudinov squared up there, just lost it momentarily. 4-2, Russia have it in the bag at the moment with 3 laps to go.
Yep, Artem Laguta off that inside gate. That's proving to be quite a starting position. Saifudinov now trying the outside run, again overlocking, and that has left himself vulnerable with Lebedevs now beginning to make a move, who was dropped in the first corner. Not a lot to choose between second, third and fourth. Got to say Laguta's impressive out in front. Saifudinov working really hard. They very much want to get this 5-1. 4-2's okay. Podzuk in second place. Saifudinov working hard in third place.
He's got to try the outside run, hasn't he?
Well, difficult to go around the outside, Nige. Not enough grip there.
Well, that's why you're the ex-rider and I'm not. I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about when it comes to speedway lines. But Saifudinov tries the inside run. And it looks as though Podzuks has just about held out there.
Yeah, by half a bike. Yeah, Nige, it just isn't quite grippy enough to do the blast around the outside, and with limited banking, it just makes it too far to go. Shortest way is the fastest way right now. Laguta made it, got there, stayed on the inside, won comfortably.
To be fair, that puts them on to 15 points, Russia. 10 of them have been scored by Laguta, 5 from Emil. So it is 4 points to 2 in favour of the Russians. Laguta the winner, Podzuks was second there for Latvia. And this is how it stands. Russia joined Germany at the top of the leaderboard on 15 points. If it stayed like that, Russia and Germany will go straight through to Poland for the final over 2 nights, next Friday and Saturday, and then we would have a straight shootout between 4th and 5th to join the 3rd place team in a last heat shootout in heat 23.
Not easy to get to the front here. 4 abreast there. Lebedev's on the outside there, really does lose an immense amount of ground on the outside. Look how detached he is at that very early stage. Laguta on the inside, Gate runs on the inside and is able to hang on. Look at that again from Saifutinov. That really is quite wild. And he is finding conditions awkward tonight. It's slippery, it's greasy, and once or twice he looks like he could well have got off the bike. As hard as he tries, can't quite get the better of Podzuks in second place. Lebedev's out the back. It's a handy 4-2, but Russia can't quite nail one of those 5-1s. But Artem Laguta is worth his weight in gold for Russia tonight so far.
He is indeed. 15 points apiece at the top of the leaderboard for Russia and Germany. Heat 14 should be a belter. It's Denmark against Slovenia. Denmark in the red and blue helmet colours, Slovenia in the white and yellow. Denmark are on 11 points right now, Slovenia are on 7, and with Germany and Russia now on 15 points apiece, Kelvin, I would suggest Denmark on 11. If they want to go through automatically, they need a good result in this one.
Minimum 4-2, and Zagar's not an easy man to beat. A 5-1 of course would be fabulous, potentially have the better gate positions on 1 and 3. But Zagar, well, he's just beginning to figure things out here tonight. Isn't in love with conditions, but he's a class act. And if he hits the front, I think that Denmark will find it difficult to peg him back.
Jepsen Jensen off the inside for Denmark. Zagar off 2 for Slovenia. Bier off 3 for Denmark. And Skoya, the reserve under 21, has come in for Ivacic here in the yellow helmet colour. This is heat 14. Great start from Zagar off gate 2, the Slovenian, and he's got the drop as well. Denmark on a 3-all as things stand at the moment. The lead is with Matti Zagar. Second place is Kenneth Bier. Third is Michael Jepsen Jensen. And the Slovenian reserve, Nick Skoya, is at the back right now. 3 points here would put the Danes on 14, would still keep them very much in contention for automatic qualification by finishing in the top 2 tonight. But if they do miss out, they will still have a chance in a knockout race-off.
Absolutely right, but what a start that was from Zagar gate 2. Denmark packing the minor places, 2nd and 3rd, that's useful, but they would have been looking for more. Pierre looks really quite competitive in 2nd place. Jepsen Jensen has been jocked. The under-21 rider scores her out the back, but Zagar once again looking really classy out in front. No practice for him, but he knows the fastest way round here. He's got this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a win for Matti Zagar, but it's going to be 2nd and 3rd for Denmark. Could work in their favour when it comes to countback if necessary for the closing stages of the meeting. But it's a win for Matti Zagar. 2nd place, Kenneth Bier for Denmark. 3rd was Michael Jepsen Jensen. And a 3 apiece is the outcome of that one, which means Slovenia now move on to 10 points. Denmark move on to 14, and Denmark are a point behind Germany and Russia, who are the top 2 at the moment. USA are on 12, Ukraine on 11, so there is a pattern very much emerging here. Zagar the winner, but Denmark pack the minor placings for a 3 apiece. And let's look at the overall standings now after 14 heats. Look how close it's getting. Russia and Germany, if it stays like this, they will go to Poland. Then it would mean that Denmark would go straight through to heat 23, and then it would be a shootout between the USA and Slovenia, the winners of which would go through to face Denmark for the final place in Wroclaw on Friday and Saturday. That's how it works.
Plenty of racing to come, and Zagar does the business here, and I think Denmark will be disappointed not to have got a heat advantage. Quite possibly would have been looking for as a minimum of 4-2, but 3rd place is okay overall. But a 3-all here, as hard as Kenneth Bier tries, he just cannot get the better of Zagar, who rides a faultless race out in front. Zagar's keeping his team in this, and potentially they will have some work to do later on in the night if he can keep winning races. Zagar looking really good. Cool looking style, good on the bike, comfortably wins as he comes out of the last corner. Bier tried really hard back in 2nd place.
He did indeed. Matti Zagar, an impressive winner, expected to be the best rider in the Slovenian side, and so it's proved to be, with all his Grand Prix experience, comfortably indeed.
Yeah.
Heat 15 is the USA against Germany. USA are in the red and blue helmet colours, and Germany are in the white and yellow. It's Greg Hancock for the USA off gate 1 in red. Gate 2 in yellow is Martin Smolinski for Germany. Gate 3 in blue is Gino Manzarez for the USA, and Kai Hülkenberg has ridden nicely tonight.
Yeah.
He's off the outside in white. This man, the legend, the 4-time champion of the world, Greg Hancock, is the leading light for the USA, as we would have expected.
Absolutely, and Greg is riding well. He loves riding for the Stars and Stripes, there's no question about that. And he's doing once again on that inside gate. Can he get the better of the Germans here?
Yep, very, very patriotic Greg Hancock, and he's got that advantage. It's a good start, the red lights are on straight away.
Yeah, I think he got a roller.
Well, red lights on. Christina Turnbull has called it back here.
I think he got a roller there, Nige. There was movement from Manzarez again, but keep your eyes on Hancock.
Greg has a nibble, I think.
Yeah,
there
it
you
goes
go.
a little early, and I thought he just got away with it, but not for long. Red lights
Indeed.
come on fairly quickly.
Well, I think if Greg keeps winning races here, Kelv, USA will be in at least one of the runoffs, one of the knockout races.
Yeah, they'll be a 4th or 5th at the very minimum. And warning for Greg Hancock, and on the inside, but they do need him to keep winning races, because Manzarez is finding the competition red hot. That man, of course, he understands what is required. Starting has been a little bit of a problem for him this season. We saw in Prague in the Grand Prix a week or so ago that he, on conditions I would have fancied him to make good starts, he didn't quite manage to do so. So maybe some work going on there, but just a little impatient that time for the old master.
Yep, it is the reintroduction of pairs racing at world level this year, and the old World Pairs final, Kelvin, who had experience of that yourself.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed them. I was a youngster riding in Rybnik many moons ago with Kenny Carter, and we managed to get the silver medal that night, and it was a fantastic night of racing. And I've got to say, I think it's something that's been missing from the calendar for a while. I think already on the evidence of tonight, we are beginning to see, like the Germans, you know, they don't ride in the Grand Prix, but they're doing very well tonight, and it puts a spotlight on a nation that ordinarily might not get it.
Yes, Greg Hancock rode in a World Pairs final back in the early 90s, in his early European career. I recall Sam Ermolenko, Ronnie Corrie and Greg Hancock back in the early 1990s, and I haven't googled it, I can't remember the year, but I would guess around 1992, there or thereabouts. USA won the World Pairs with those guys, Ermolenko, Corrie, and a very, very young Greg Hancock.
Yep, and still rides like a youngster. He might be 48 tomorrow, but crikey, he still rides like a teenager.
Absolutely, Heat 15. And that was amazing back in the day, because it was Hancock of Cradley and Ermolenko of Corrie of Wolves. Those two clubs, that rivalry, but as USA riders, it brought them together. Fabulous. Teamwork at its best. Heat 15, here we go. And that's a good start from Smolinski. He's got the drop on Hancock. This could be a blow to the USA, particularly if the man in white, Kai Hülkenberg, comes around the outside. Now a bit of team riding from the Germans needed. Hancock tries the inside run at the inside, really putting the squeeze on the Germans, but this is Smolinski in the yellow helmet, Hülkenberg in white, and Smolinski slows down, and Hülkenberg looks over his shoulder. Team riding needed here, big time, with Hancock all over them.
Great start from the Germans, brilliant start from Smolinski to get the better of Hancock. Hancock is working overtime in 3rd place. Kai Hülkenberg looking for his teammate, working well together, the Germans. Oh! Brilliant move from Hancock, switches up the inside, gets the better of Smolinski. Class move from Hancock, that.
Wow, who says Greg does all his work from the start? That was a clever move, a clever switch, and Hancock is going to split the Germans, and those 2 points could be vital for the USA, but it's a big 4 points for Germany. Huge 4 points for Germany there in heat number 15. Drama here at the Bergring in Teterow, and some good speedway in the mix there. And, well, Smolinski and Hancock having a real ding-dong. Good stuff in heat 15.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Got to say, the move from Hancock was fabulous. Switched to the inside, split second decision down the back straight. Got the better of Smolinski, but Germany are in it still. 4 points is very useful. And once again, they're moving on to 19 championship points. Good stuff.
Germany looking good to go straight through. As Kelvin said, they don't ride in the Grand Prix, Smolinski or Hülkenberg, but they could be on the verge of an appearance as straight qualifiers into Wrocław and the Speedway of Nations finals over 2 nights, next Friday and Saturday.
Great start from Smolinski. This is second time of asking, and got to say that Hancock's bike doesn't drive as well as he would have liked there. It just spun up a little bit. Smolinski gets there, allows his teammate, looking for him, needing him to come around the outside. He does. Late on in the race, Hancock makes that great move up the inside and takes Smolinski by surprise. Big move that was from Greg. It really was quite forceful, but he pulls it off. Here you see it. Switches to the inside, allows the bike to steam underneath him, and a great move to get the better of Smolinski, who at the very early stages was leading the race. Kai Hülkenberg, great out in front. He's delighted with that, and good action for second and third.
Yeah, it's getting tense, and Germany lead this event 1. Here, Race Off 1 is the correct title of the event. Race Off 1 here at the Bergring Arena in Teterow, Germany. Northern Germany is where we're at, and heat number 16 is coming up here, and it is Latvia against the Ukraine. Now Latvia on 9 points, Ukraine on 11. I think it's fair to say these two nations are staring down the barrel right now.
They are indeed. They're going to have to pick up 5 points. One of these teams, if they get a 5-1, then they give themselves half a chance. And this is the sort of race where potentially it might happen. And Lebedevs and Podzuks must have half a chance here. On previous form, certainly last year's form, got to believe that Latvia have got a chance of getting a 5-1 here and put some pressure on some of the teams just above them. So they don't want to throw the towel in here. They've got gates 1 and 3, Nigel. And if they could pick up 5 points, that would be a huge boost for them.
Would indeed. Heat number 16, Latvia are off gates 1 and 3. The man in blue is Podzuks, red is Lebedevs. But as things stand, it's a super start from the Ukraine, and that is Andrei Karpov who has the lead right now. Latvia struggling here, coming through into second is Podzuks. But what about this Loktev for the Ukraine? Really working hard here. Ukraine have a 4-2 as things stand, but now Latvia are going to really battle hard with the man on the inside, Lebedevs, who's come through.
He has indeed. Podzuks putting play to Loktev there. Karpov out in front. There we go, at the back again. Lebedev's coming under a lot of pressure. Look at this! Crikey, how tight was that? As they go into the first corner, Lebedev's back up the inside, gets the better of the Loktev. Good Speedway again. Out in front, Karpov, he's out of it. The fireworks are going on behind him. Good racing there.
Yeah, good racing indeed, but this is a very impressive ride from Karpov for the Ukraine. He's the man who rides in the Polish league quite regularly, but then down into the final stages of this one. Watch out for the man in yellow, Loktev, but he's gone too wide. It's a thrill, 3 apiece.
Yep.
In heat number 16.
Overexcited again.
I'm going to say, what was that noise?
Yeah, nothing for nothing. I just got completely confused. Couldn't see the rider coming out of turn 4. they swapped places as they went over the line. Podzuks eased up and allowed Lebedevs through, just swapping over.
What's going on?
Yeah, too much. Good Speedway there though. And at one stage, as they went into turn 1, about 2/3 of the way through the race, you really could have thrown a blanket over all 3 riders. But no, again, tactics coming to play.
Ukraine on 14 now.
Yeah, decent
This
return.
is how it stands. Reminder, top 2 go through. That's Germany and Russia at the moment. Then the third place team go to heat 23 race off. And then 4 and 5 nations 4 and 5, they have another chance in heat 22.
Well, he's going to give himself a great birthday present if he gets his nation to the finals. He's riding as well as ever. These 2 boys just preparing themselves for the upcoming race. Not easy to get both of them to the front. A big 5-1 now to either of these teams would be a huge move and really put themselves in the driving seats as racing is coming to the end of the night. Saifutinov and Artem Laguta haven't quite managed to click as a pair so far. They've picked up good points, but haven't managed to quite get to the first corner together. And that's been difficult for any riders tonight. We've only, as I said earlier, we've only seen 1 5-1, and that's from the home nation. And they're going great guns tonight. They seem to have had a really good understanding between each other so far, the Germans.
Yes, so Russia in red and blue and Denmark in white and yellow in the next race coming up here at the Bergring in Teterow. Nice atmosphere, decent crowd, scattering of fans all around the arena. Always difficult, Kelv, when you've got two major events in a year at the same track.
Yes.
And we're back here in September for the Grand Prix, of
Yeah,
course.
the Grand Prix, we've had two here, and they've both been very well attended. And you're right, you know, this is a qualifier. It's not the main attraction. It's not the main event, so you wouldn't expect to have as many people, but there's still a healthy crowd. And they'll be very pleased to see the home nation going through. Plenty of local Germans. There's a lot of local speedway tracks and clubs in this area, so there's a good support for speedway in the northeast, and that's where we are. We are in the northeast. We're not far from Poland, actually. It's not too far to the border. We're northeast of Berlin, if you're thinking about where we are.
Well, if we were in a pairs final with the Poles in it, this place would just be absolutely packed, wouldn't
It'd
it?
be heaving, yeah. The Poles would be flooding in their thousands here. We had 12,000, I believe, for the Grand Prix last year, and it was very dodgy weather. So, yeah, it can take a lot. Riders are just having to be a touch patient. Phil Morris is rushing around, the race director, just making sure that track and everything is in order for racing to start again. But as we've said already, this is quite a big heat. This could be the race of the night. This could see one of these nations really gather momentum and push on and win the event.
Quite easily. Denmark right now on 14 points. Russia are on 15. The leaders are Germany on 19. So a 5-1 for Russia would put them ahead of Germany. But of course it is the top two nations after 21 races who go through to the final in Poland, Wrocław, next Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely, and it wouldn't be a major surprise to see both of these teams going through as 1 and 2, but I'm sure that there's going to be more to be said, and there's a few twists and turns to go. But for the very present, for the very upcoming race, I've got to say, very much looking forward to this race. This is going to be quite a tussle here.
Yep. So here we go with heat number 17, and it's a big one this. Russia in red and blue up against Denmark in white and yellow. And an all-star cast for this one. Artem Laguta off the inside in red for the Russians. And a reminder, Russia are on 15 points, Denmark are on 14, Germany lead the meeting on 19. So it's Artem Laguta off the inside. Gate number 2 in white for the Danes is Michael Jepsen Jensen. Gate 3 blue is Emil Seifutinov for the Russians. And going off the outside in yellow is Kenneth Pierre for Denmark.
Big lineup. Very difficult to get 5-1s tonight. We've only seen one, and that's from Germany. If either one of these teams was able to do it now, that would be a huge statement of intent. Momentum.
1-5-1 can get you straight through to the final.
There you go. So that's how important it is. Laguta and Seifutinov against 1 and 3. Possibly that is an advantage at this stage after a grading break. Time will tell. Jepsen Jensen's had his moments tonight. Pierre looked competitive last time. 4 world-class riders here. 2 riders from Russia currently in the Grand Prix series. They've got to be favourites to get the better of the opposition.
Yep, heat number 17 it is then here. Huge race. Russia in the red and blue helmet colour. Denmark in the white and yellow. Here we go, heat number 17. Little bit of movement at the start. The race continues though, and it's looking good for Team Russia right now. Pierre trying to break through, but can't quite do it. Now Laguta needs to look over his shoulder. Laguta really does need to look for Emil Seifutinov, but he has done. He's looked over his left shoulder, and now Kenneth Pierre is swarming all over Emil Seifutinov. But Laguta has the lead. Russia are on a 5-1, and this will put Russia as leaders of the meeting on 20 points if it stays like this.
Big move that. Great first corner from the Russians. Really got there. Was a little untidy on the start line. Pierre and Jepsen Jensen just being out-battled. Russia showing their class here. 2 quality riders, 2 Grand Prix stars, beginning to really stamp their authority. Artem Laguta has been outstanding all night long, and for the first time tonight the 2 Russians are side by side, dominating heat 17.
Looking quick and really in cohesion here now, because they are close to each other, and Laguta looks over his shoulder and thumbs up to Seifutinov. Team Russia do the business, and Denmark now with 1 point there puts them on to 15, 20 now for Russia, but Denmark are on 15 points and they only have 1 heat remaining.
Good
so
move.
they are running out of time to try and qualify automatically in the top 2.
Absolutely, that was a heavy blow there for the Danes, no doubt about it. Did I say that gates 1 and 3 could well have proved to be significant here? We'll see it again. Oh, a bit of movement from Jepsen Jensen, but the race is allowed to continue. He definitely jumps early. You can see
he's
it
punished
there.
himself there. He's finished last in the race. Maybe that was in Christina Turnbull's thinking.
What, he doesn't do himself any favours. He lifted as he got to the first corner. He left the door open. Saifutinov and Pierre charge underneath him. But Artem Luguta once again riding beautifully out in front. Emil Saifutinov there hanging on in second place and joins his teammate out in front. A big move by the Russians. And 5 points, second 5-1 of the night. Russia picking up. That was a big result for Russia, that.
Well, the winners of the meeting could be decided in Heat 20 when it's Germany against Russia. As things stand right now, Russia 20, Germany 19. Top 2 go through, remember. 6 rides each. So 1 apiece remaining. Time running out for the Danes. They may have to gamble. They have no choice but to gamble in a knockout race-off. And then anything can happen.
Indeed. If they finish third, they'll have to be patient. They'll have to wait for the Heat 22 with 4th and 5th racing off. And they will have gate position pick for Heat 23 to try and grab that last place if it proves to be the case. We've got USA here and Zagar and Slovenia. And Greg Hancock will be looking to try and make a better getaway here, but Zagar will be no easy task. We're looking at the way Russia dominated Heat 17, and that really was a pivotal moment, the first time that the pre-meeting favourites really put their best foot forward, and they did it in fine style.
We're up to Heat number 18. It's Slovenia against the USA, and if the USA, you feel, are going to have any chance whatsoever of pinching a top 2 spot, Manzarek is going to have to step up to the plate. They need a 4-2 here, really, USA. And the gate positions are such that Mati Zagar is off the inside gate for Slovenia. Manzarek for the USA off 2 in yellow. Gate 3 is Ivicic for Slovenia. And the old master, Greg Hancock, is going off the outside in the white helmet colour. Here we go, heat number 18. It's getting very, very tense out there. Here at the Bergring Arena in Teterow. Green lights are on. And away from the start, and Manzarek has got the lead ahead of the Slovenian in 3rd spot, and now he's gone wide and Slovenian comes up the inside, says thank you very much, and that's Ivicic getting the better of Manzarek, who's come back to repay the compliment. USA on a 4-2, Hancock has the lead over Zagar. USA would move on to 18 points and put themselves right in the mix if Manzarek holds the line and finishes on a 4-2 here.
Significant move here. Greg Hancock did a lot of work on gate 4, and it's proved to work beautifully. He's got a great getaway to get the better of Zagar. Gino Manzarek, I thought he'd thrown it away in the first corner, but has recovered to get the better of the opposition, and he's through into 3rd place. Manzarek, that's a very, very important 3rd place.
Zagar slowing up.
Down big time.
Slowing up big time.
He has indeed, and that will be interesting to see what Manzarek makes of that. Hancock's won the race. Zagar desperately trying to get Manzarek overtaken.
Oh, Manzarek!
Oh, they've both gone down. Both gone down. Zagar slowing the race down. Manzarek then losing control completely in turns 3 and 4. And then Ivicic having to lay the bike down. And we can't quite see from our position here exactly how riders are. Manzarek is still on the deck and Ivicic is on his feet, but that was a nasty moment.
Well. Drama here in heat 19 of the, heat number 18 of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations. Let's hope that Gino is going to be up and about.
Yeah, I just wonder whether Zagar and how the referee will interpret this when riders are slowing down to try and get their teammates through. Is that creating a problem that shouldn't really be there? Manzarek certainly lost composure, and the ambulance has now made its way onto the track because there is concern for Gino Manzarek. But Greg Hancock made a great start from the outside. It was looking so good for America there, and Zagar then slowed right down quite dramatically, and as they concertinaed up going through the last corner on the last lap, Manzarek's got too much grip and the bike reared up underneath him, and Ivicic had to put the bike down. That'll be a 3-all, I believe.
Yep, and more immediately our concerns are with Gino Manzarek. We hope that he's going to be okay. fingers crossed Gino will be up and about, but they are giving him attention now down there on turn number 4, and as we can see the ambulance is there, and we wish Gino all the very best.
I don't quite know what to think about this when they slow right down. It's something that we don't normally see.
But Kelvin, in that situation, did he just not lose control of the bike?
Quite possibly,
Got some
but
grip?
I'm wondering if he was put off by the fact that Zagar was going slowly, wasn't at racing speed. But it may have nothing to do with it at all, but Zagar clearly did slow down quite dramatically.
Well, let's hope that Gino's going to be okay. Living his dream, coming to Europe, Gino Manzarek to race Scunthorpe in the championship in the UK. Used to ride for the Ipswich Witches as well. Gino Manzarek is a likeable character, very popular everywhere he goes, and we send him our very, very best wishes and hope that he's going to be okay. Having attention down there on turn number 4. He is conscious, we're told, which is good news, and this is what happened.
Yeah, Zagar slowed down. Gino Manzarek, you're right, Nigel. Although Zagar slowed, he didn't cause that problem.
Oh!
He got a clout there, though, didn't he?
Oh!
Nasty.
Fingers crossed.
It's unfortunate from where we are. Zagar's having a good look around him, and he comes in here, and Zagar's hugging the inside. Manzarek's there, just having to turn the bike a touch harder than he wanted to. Lifts, and then Ivicic had nowhere to go, and you've got to feel for Manzarek. He's had a real bash on the back of the head. That's
He'll have
nasty.
a headache in the morning, won't he?
He will feel very second hand. He's going to need a couple of horse pills to get over that one.
Oh, no. Don't like that.
We've seen that enough, I think.
Yes. Yeah, move on from that. Gino Manzarek has been excluded. So it does mean that it's a 3 apiece, but quite frankly, I'm more concerned about Gino Manzarek. I hope he's going to be up and about and okay. He's having the very, very, very best attention down there on the track.
Well, fingers crossed he can make a recovery, because that's a heavy impact, and he made a massive effort to get here, but we now see the result. It is a 3-all.
Yeah, Zagar was second, Ivicic gets 3rd place. USA are on 17. And Slovenia are on 13. Slovenia also runs at the moment as things stand. But remember, top 5 stay in the competition. It's only 6 and 7 that dip out at the end of heat 21.
That's actually quite a key result for Slovenia. That added point they got there because of the accident puts them in 5th place, and 5th place gets another chance in heat 22.
As things stand, it's very unlikely we would see Gino in the knockout, if you pardon the pun, the knockout stages anyway. That was an unfortunate choice of words, I accept that, but that's what it is. And therefore, you know, Greg's on his own now, and we probably won't see we won't see the USA in Poland.
No, that's unfortunate, and I know that they'll be desperately disappointed. Luke Becker being injured, that's a real blow for them. They've been short-handed tonight, and with that injury to Manzarek, that means that their chances are very, very slim indeed.
So heat number 19, and it is the Ukraine against Denmark, and Denmark are on 15 points right now. Russia are on 20, Germany are on 19, but Germany and Russia meet in the next one, heat number 20.
Yeah.
So we really are getting down to the nitty-gritty now, and this is Denmark's last outing in the qualifying heats. This will determine whether they have any chance whatsoever of getting through straight in as the top 2, but we suspect they maybe have left themselves a little bit too much work to do, because they're already 4 behind Germany and 5 behind Russia.
Need a 5-1.
They do indeed. Heat 19, and it is Ukraine in the red and blue, Denmark in the white and yellow. It's off the inside Andrei Karpov for the Ukraine. Gate 2 in white, Michael Jepsen-Jensen for Denmark. Gate 3 in blue, Alexander Loktaev for the Ukraine, and off the outside in yellow, Kenneth Bier for Denmark.
It is indeed. Michael Jepsen-Jensen doing a lot of gardening there on gate 2, desperate to try and find a good spot to get a great drive to the first corner. Don't rule out Karpov on the inside. He was quick last time.
Tidy rider.
He is a tidy rider, and Loktaev, they're not. They're certainly excited to be here, and they're riding very well indeed. Outside, Kenneth Bier. They've got to show their experience here. Got to hold their composure, because a 5-1 here will give them an outside chance of a top 2 spot.
Will still be an outside chance, it has to be said. Now, here we go. Heat number 19.
Whoa.
What a start from Andrei Karpov. Is the referee happy with that? No, the red lights are on.
Tell you what, that's
Red lights are
marginal,
on.
that one.
Wow. So, here we see it again. Heat 19.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't touched the tapes.
No, he does go a bit early. Yeah. He's had a warning, hasn't he?
Yes.
I think he may well have penalised himself. It's just got himself excluded again. That's a shame. That's a shame for Ukraine. It's a bonus for Denmark.
Yes. Well, well, well. There we are. Andrei Karpov excluded. And you cannot bring in, although the Ukraine don't have an under-21 rider, the rule is that you cannot bring in a reserve rider for a starting offence anyway. So even if the Ukraine did have a under-21 reserve, they couldn't use him anyway for a starting offence.
No.
Karpov too keen there, and he was already on a warning.
It's the second time he's been excluded for jumping the start, so he hasn't had the best of nights, but when he has been racing, he's looked really good.
He will argue that it was just a great start.
Yeah, of course he will, but unfortunately, when you see it here, does just go a fraction early there.
Does he?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Interesting, interesting. Here we see it again. I think it's a perfect start.
It goes when the tapes go up. It's marginal. It's marginal.
There we go. Tapes go, now he goes.
No, he goes early.
Okay. You're not going to agree with me under any circumstances, are you?
Well, I would if you were right, but you're wrong.
I always am. I always am with
we
you.
agreed in Prague on something. I can't remember what it was, but we did agree.
Right, okay. Yes,
Moving on.
Kelvin and I always have a discussion. He has his point of view, I have mine, and then we agree he's right. Heat 19. 3 riders only, no Karpov for the Ukraine, and Loktaev has moved across to the inside gate in blue.
Yeah.
But it is Jepsen Jensen off gate 2 in white for the Danes, and Kenneth Vier off the outside in yellow for Denmark. Opportunity here for Denmark.
Well, we agree on that because it
Great.
is absolutely that, and they need to get the 5-1 here. Jepsen Jensen needs to get the better of Loktaev, hold him on the inside and allow Kenneth Vier around the outside in the first corner, and then ride as a pair and pick up the 5 points. Easily said, not so easily done. So got to believe that Loktaev, if he gets away here, he's on the inside, he'll make the Danes work hard, but you've got to believe that Denmark really do need the 5-1 right now.
Yes, they do indeed. Heat 19. This is a huge moment for Denmark. They need a 5-1 here. And they're away, but it's a good start by Loktaev off the inside gate now. He's proving to be a spoiler here. Now he goes wide. Oh, and that closes the door for Jepsen Jensen. Denmark are only on a 3-all here. The man in blue is the Ukrainian Alexander Loktaev, and he is outpacing Michael Jepsen Jensen and Kenneth Vier, and this could be Denmark's hopes of automatically going through to Wroclaw in the final, going up in smoke here.
Yeah, Jepsen Jensen's coming on strong in second place. They're desperate to try and get through to the front. Loktaev is making them work awfully hard, really stacking up in behind him. Jepsen Jensen putting him under all sorts of pressure. Loktaev responding, hanging on out in front. Can he hold his composure here? Just over a lap to go. He's looking good in front. Yeah, Loktaev now under massive pressure from Jepsen Jensen. Oh, that's tight as they enter the first corner for the last time.
If it stays a 3-all, it's jubilation for Germany and Russia, because they will go straight through to Wroclaw on Friday and Saturday. It's Germany and Russia who join Poland in Wroclaw for the final of the Speedway of Nations next Friday and Saturday. Russia are on 20, Germany are on 19. Denmark have finished their qualifying heats on 18 points, and Germany and Russia will do battle in the next purely to decide who wins on the night.
Well, that is quite a result, and you've got to believe that Denmark missed a trick there. Down to one man, Ukraine. They come up with a brilliant ride from Loktaev, and Denmark will be kicking themselves a bit. They've still got a chance, still got a good chance of making the finals next week, but they're going to have to do it the hard way.
Denmark have ridden all their heats on 18. The only heats to come are Russia and Germany and Slovenia against Latvia. So the top two go through, and Russia and Germany are safe. So Russia and Germany will go through to the final of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations next Friday and Saturday in Poland, and the next heat is Germany against Russia, purely to decide who wins tonight's meeting.
Loktaev on the inside. This is a coming of age ride for him, no doubt about that. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. On the inside gate, on his own, up against two previous Grand Prix campaigners here. This really is quite a ride from him. He pushes hard in the first corner, and as hard as Jepsen Jensen tries, he cannot find a way through. It gets awfully tight as they enter the first corner for the last time, but Loktaev's in the right place at the right time. He's got that throttle wide open, and he rides a stormer, possibly the ride of his career so far, and comes through to win, and denied Denmark any chance of qualifying straight through to the finals in first and second place. Work to be done for Denmark. I still expect them to qualify, but these two teams are already through, Russia and Germany.
Yes, and as things stand, Denmark would go through to heat number 22, which will be the deciding heat. Denmark could well finish third here now, and that will mean that they will go straight through to the final race to decide who joins the top two.
Yeah, that's heat 23, I think. And heat 22 will be fourth and fifth race off. And heat 23 will see Denmark up against the winners of heat 22. So
you're spot on, yes.
They have to wait a little bit. Good clash this between Russia and Germany. Germany have been a surprise. I was expecting them to qualify, but not as the top two. They have ridden beautifully together. These two teams have done the business.
Smolinski's off the inside. Legutzer off two. Huckenbeck on three. And it is Huckenbeck. Oh no, he's missed the start. Legutzer's made a good one. Now here comes Legutzer around the outside of Smolinski. Saifukinov down the back straight. The wheel to wheel as things stand. Saifukinov now locks up, and Germany are on a 3-all. Running out of room. The man in red is Kai Huckenbeck, and Saifukinov is through. This would be a 4-2 to the Russians, who would finish on 24 points tonight. Germany would finish on 21, and it would be Team Russia winning race off one of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations.
Saifukinov coming on strong in third place. Russia really beginning to show their class here. Saifukinov with Emil Saifukinov. Oh, brilliant move from him to get the better of Smolinski up the inside. This could be consecutive 5-1s for the Russian team, and really showing their class here late on in the night. Artem Legutzer has been outstanding. Saifukinov has ridden brilliantly to get to second place.
Yep, 25 to Russia. 25 points to Russia, 20 to Germany as Huckenbeck goes down late on.
He's okay.
He's okay. Yep.
Smolinski in third place. Great stuff from Russia. They clinch it in fine style. 2 5-1s to complete the night for them. They're through comfortably in the end, fully deservedly, and a lot of people fancy them to go all the way in Wrocław over 2 days at the end of next week. Russia looking good. Germany through as well. Great work from both those two teams.
Well, we now know that Latvia and Slovenia in the last heat here, heat 21, they cannot catch the nations in the top 5 here. So it's a 5-1 to Russia. Russia win the meeting. They have finished tonight on 25 points. Germany go through on 20. Now we have Denmark, who will go straight through to heat 23, and then we have the USA and the Ukraine doing battle in heat number 22. However, if Gino Manzarek cannot ride, it will be a formality for the Ukraine to win and go and take on Denmark for the final place in Wrocław next weekend. That's how it's shaping up.
Yep, and it's shaped up very nicely for Russia. There's no question about that. They have ridden really well. They were a little untidy. They couldn't quite ride as a pair earlier on in the night, but here we see evidence of it working very well again. The Legutzer has been terrific all night long. Saifukinov has found conditions a little bit more demanding, but I've got to say he rides really well here to get the better of Smolinski. Track is slick. You can clearly see the track is slick. It's not easy to overtake. Not a lot of banking on this place. And look at this move. He comes roaring up the inside to get the better of Smolinski. Late on in the race, Huckenbeck just running in a little bit too hot into the pit corner, and he falls off. He's okay. Doesn't make any difference to the result. Legutzer riding well. Punches the air with delight. Russia have won on the night, and they go through to the Speedway of Nations finals next week in Wrocław in fine style, and it's a track both of those two riders will know very well, and they are a pair to be feared, and they've also got a very useful under 21 rider if something were to happen to one of them. So they are a good looking professional outfit, and you've got to believe that they will be really boosted and full of confidence going into the finals next week.
Yeah, we're now down to heat number 21, and it is Latvia against Slovenia, although the tractors are out and the water bowser, so I can only assume that we will have a short break before heat 21 now, and we'll reflect on the action very shortly. So, Latvia against Slovenia coming up in heat 21. I thought the grading may have been done after heat 21.
Well, that's
Head off
thought was
the
going to happen,
runoffs.
but it hasn't. But Laguta, big beaming smile there. He has returned to the highest level of speedway racing this year, and he's doing it in fine style. Good news for him, he's delighted with that. He had a final appearance, of course, in Warsaw in the opening Grand Prix of the season, and Russia are looking good, and we'll be excited about seeing them at the end of next week. One race of the qualifying heats to go, pretty much a formality really. I don't believe it's going to have really any bearing on the result tonight, unless my partner in crime here tells me otherwise. I think that Latvia and Slovenia aren't able to get into 4th or 5th place. Is that correct, Nige?
You're spot on as it stands.
Okay.
We have USA and Ukraine will be heat 22,
Yeah.
and the winners of that will face Denmark in heat 23
Yes.
in a straight shootout heat 23 to decide who joins Russia and Germany in Poland on Friday and Saturday of next week.
Yeah, well, Ukraine, Mr. Karpov is going to have to behave himself if he wants to get the better of the opposition and try and get himself through. Now in heats 22 and 23, of course, 3-alls become all important. If you get a 3-all, second and third beats a win. So yes, team riding once again, the emphasis on team riding will be hugely important. It's been an interesting night of Speedway. The Germans have ridden well. Greg Hancock just having a good chat with Martin Smolinski with Lance King on the left, so work to be done for the Americans, but a good night of Speedway of Nations Speedway with 3 races to come.
Well, we've got some children in the crowd tonight, which is good to see. They're enjoying them. Was that the floss? That young man was doing the floss then, I'm sure he was. You don't know what that is, Cal, do you?
No idea.
There you go.
Maybe if I keep watching I might get an idea.
Absolutely. Entertainment during the grading break from the youngsters in the crowd. Smiles around. It's a nice, hot,
The
sunny
Germans
evening.
are smiling because they've gone straight through and they've
Yeah.
done really well tonight. Hülkenberg and Smolinski, they can feel very proud of themselves, and we'll see them next week. Sagar now. Right, it's just beginning to emerge on a freshly prepared track for Heat 21.
Freshly prepared track for a race which is just for consolation for these guys now. They're out of the tournament, so they're just going to go and enjoy themselves one last time. Heat number 21. This is Mati Zegar for Slovenia. He'll be partnered by Nick Squire, his under 21 reserve colleague. Heat 21 then. The final race of qualifying is on the way, and then we've got 2 more heats to decide the third nation to go through. Heat 21 is Latvia against Slovenia. Latvia are in the red and blue, and Slovenia are in the white and yellow. Neither nation can make progress from here. This is just a consolation race for them. And off the inside in red it will be Andrzej Lebedevs for Latvia. Gate 2 in white will be Mati Zegar for Slovenia. Gate 3 in blue is Kas Podzuks for Latvia. And going off the outside in yellow, Nick Squire for Slovenia.
Well, Zegar's got to be favourite here. He'll be looking to finish the night in style, I'm sure. Gate 2 for him. He's won some races tonight and has looked good when he has been out in front. Lebedevs and Podzuks have been battling, but they haven't been able to work as well as a pair tonight. And Lebedevs, well, last year he really was red hot in the World Cup, particularly in the qualifying Västervik in Sweden when he denied the Danes, but tonight hasn't had quite the same level of performance. Settling down, we've had to be very patient here for Heat 21, there's no doubt about that. We are just about to get all 4 riders up to tapes, and we will now very shortly be on with it.
Here we go, Heat 21 then, at the Speedway of Nations here in Teterow. And they're away first time of asking here, and it's a good start from Zagar. Oh, and the man in red takes out his colleague. Lebedev's has just taken Podzuk's out wide. That has allowed Skoyer into third place. It is only consolation this heat, remember. Both these nations are now out of the tournament. This is their final appearance in the meeting tonight, and their presence in the Speedway of Nations ends here. There's a battle here for Podzuk's in blue, trying hard on Nick Skoyer. But we have the knockout races to come. USA, Ukraine and Denmark. Denmark, we remind you, are already through to Heat 23. That is the last chance knockout to see who joins Germany, Russia and Poland in the Speedway of Nations final. But Matti Zegar looking good.
Yeah, he is indeed. He's out in front, no surprise there. Lebedev's really put paid to his teammates' chances. He very nearly clouted him in the first corner and forced Podzuk's to the back, and Skoyer's riding well, the under-21 in third place. Zegar round that last corner, no problems at all, wins in fine style. Lebedev second. Skoyer will be pleased with that. He picks up a point. He'll be chuffed a bit coming in to replace Ivicic in Heat 21 with Podzuk's, who'll be a touch grumpy, I think, with his teammate after that first corner.
I think Latvia will be disappointed. 14 points.
Yeah,
they're
not enough,
that, aren't they?
No, they're better than that, and they haven't had the same form this year, Nigel. I don't know why. Lebedev's particularly hasn't been able to reproduce the same form as we saw him in last year, but Zegar looking good out in front in Heat 21.
Slovenia 4, Latvia 2, 21 heats completed. Russia and Germany are through to the final, and we now have 3 nations battling it out for one more spot: USA, Ukraine and Denmark.
Well, no surprise to see Zegar win the race. He sprints off. Not quite know why. Maybe he has a call of nature. Who knows? But he comes charging away from gate 2, gets the better of Lebedev's, who then doesn't really do Podzuk's any favours there, forces him wide, and Podzuk just cannot land a blow. Watch it again now. He comes across there, nothing intentional, but it just, they both got there at the same time, and Podzuk just got himself in a position where he just got missed out. Zegar rides really quite comfortably out in front, just a high-speed demonstration from the number 1 man from Slovenia. A bit disappointed, of course, because their Speedway of Nations campaign, rather, is over tonight. But Skorja, they'll be chuffed with that. That was a handy ride for him. And again, that's what the Speedway of Nations is about. Opportunities for riders with limited experience at the highest level. Here we see some points coming up, Nigel, and it will be a disappointing night for Latvia.
I did make an error there, by the way, because a 5-1 Slovenia, we know that that has propelled them, put them ahead of Ukraine. So we now know the situation here. That was my error. My mathematics let me down.
That was significant then, because Slovenia with that 4-2 there, Nigel, has given themselves another chance.
Emil, 25 points takes you all the way through to the final. You and Artem rode in style tonight.
Yes, this was amazing, meeting with it's really tough because like I look, it's a little bit get some dirt, so I so happy, and we go to the final and fight to some medals, Of course, it will be hard because it's final, and we try to do that.
Did you enjoy riding your first night as a pair with Artem?
Yes. We just try to, speak on the track. It's like speak. It's I has like gate 3 and 4, and I just try to fight. It's for my points, and because Artem has a good start, and he just keep with his points, and I try just do everything to be behind him. So. So we did that, and we're happy.
Okay, Emil, see you in the finals.
Thank you, see you later. Bye-bye.
And as I say, Slovenia are pretty much, to all intents and purposes, they're in the next race as well.
So it's Matti Zegar and Nick Skoyer in red and blue for Slovenia, and Greg Hancock, the sole USA representative, in yellow. And we know that Denmark await the winners of this in Heat 23.
You just wonder whether they may have to review the reserve rider here, because with the lack of under 21 riders in some nations, 3 riders here would certainly have bolstered the American course. You see how vulnerable teams are where they've only got 2 riders.
Yes, so riders just waiting to push off here. Jeff Hancock.
Yeah, Jeff has burst on the scene tonight, there's no doubt about that. He has been outstanding for America. I don't think anybody had heard of Jeff Hancock before tonight's event, but we know all about him now.
Crowd have enjoyed themselves tonight, no question. It's good to see. Christina Turnbull, our referee, cannot put the 2 minutes on until directed by Phil Morris, the race director.
Here we go. Greg Hancock, the 4-time world champion, just making his way sedately up to ride. He knows the situation. If he hits the front, then he's just got to cross his fingers that no harm comes to another rider, but a rider packs up.
And it's very ironic that USA-Slovenia was the race where Gino crashed out.
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah, good shout. Very good shout when Zagar slowed up and Gino Manzarez just got it all wrong. But for Hancock, even if he manages to win this race, they won't go through because 2nd and 3rd beats a win.
Yep, here we go then. Heat 22 here at the Bergring, here in Teterow. And it's the first knockout race between Slovenia and the USA. Here we go with heat number 22 then, and it is Slovenia against the USA. Slovenia with Mati Zagar in red and Nick Skoya, the under-21 rider, in blue. And it is Greg Hancock in yellow for the USA. Gino Manzarez, unfortunately, ruled out with injury in the race that was between Slovenia and the USA. So if Greg Hancock wins the race here, because of the fact that 2nd and 3rd count some more with a bonus point from one of the riders, then that would be Slovenia through, unless a Slovenia rider has a mechanical failure, and USA would go through 3-2. But anything can happen. Slovenia are in this race when I said they couldn't even qualify. How about that?
There you go. And young Skoja here has got an opportunity for another ride. Slovenia are effectively going to have 3 rides on the spin now, because unless something quite extraordinary happens, they will be in the very next race against Denmark as well. Zager on the inside, just getting himself sorted out. Hancock, who made a good start from gate 4 earlier on, he'll be hoping to do something similar again. Heat 22, here we go.
Yep, here we go then. It is Slovenia in red and blue, Hancock in yellow. All Slovenia have to do is complete 4 laps. That is the simple task ahead of them. And Zagar has made the start here. Now Hancock will try and go around the outside down the back straight. Now, all Slovenia have to do is safely get through the next 3 and a bit laps here, and they will be in the last chance runoff with Denmark for a place in the Speedway of Nations final. Hancock has the lead, Zagar's second. He's just got to sit there and ensure that his partner Skoya gets through this race.
But Skoya's struggling, his steel shoe's hanging off. He's going to have a long 4 laps. It's going to be extremely uncomfortable for the other 21 rider. He now gets rid of his steel shoe. Drama here. Can he complete the 4 laps?
Well.
Very uncomfortable for the youngster. He's going to have to leg trail, Nigel. I've done it myself. It's very uncomfortable there.
Could you believe it? Greg Hancock with the lead.
Couldn't script it, could you?
No, Mati Zagar second, and it looks as though Skoya might just get around here with no steel shoe. Hancock is going to complete an amazing personal night for him. It's his birthday tomorrow, but it is Slovenia who go through to the final. Slovenia are through to the final race of the night against Denmark, and it's a straight shootout between Slovenia and Denmark for the place in Wroclaw and the Speedway of Nations final. Great performance from that man, Greg Hancock. Wonderful solo display from him tonight. 5 wins in 7 outings for Greg Hancock, a 4 times world champion. And he has done himself and his country proud tonight. Alas, to no avail. And Nick Skoya is coming round to try and find his missing steel shoe.
Quite expensive steel shoes these days. So yeah, well worth going out and picking it up, but I can assure you, very awkward to ride without one, and it really was quite dramatic. I thought he might get off the bike. I saw him get in trouble, and then you saw it dangling off his ankle, and he finally got rid of it because it was annoying him. But Greg Hancock, well, he never lets his country down, does he? Another wonderful display from the four-time former world champion.
He'll be back here in September for the Grand Prix, Greg Hancock, but our last race of the night will feature Denmark and Slovenia for the place in the Speedway of Nations final. Let's find out from the race director, Phil Morris.
Team Denmark, please select your gates and riders for the final heat.
Yeah, we'll take 1 and 3.
Michael Jepsen-Jensen on gate 1, and it looks like Kenneth Bjerre will go in blue from gate 3.
Team Slovenia, please select your gate.
Zagar will go from gate 2 in white, and Skorja looks like he's going to go in gate 4 in yellow. So busy time for those two lads from Slovenia. They've had to race the last 2 races, and this will be their 3rd one.
Yeah, this is something you flagged up when we first talked about the system as well, Cal, didn't you? You said effectively a nation could be facing 3 on the bounce to get through.
And the very first round, that's what's happened.
Yep.
And it's tough, and for them to go through, this will be Matti Zagar's 8th appearance on the night, so that's more than a Grand Prix.
So
Denmark making their way. No surprise to see them first out. They are the ones with all the pressure. They're the ones that have had to wait, and they emerge onto the arena now. Last race of the night, plenty riding on it, of course. This really is quite a big moment for both nations. You know, if Slovenia could pull off a miracle here, then that would be quite a story in itself. But Kenneth Bjerre, Michael Jepsen-Jensen have got to do the business for Denmark.
absolutely. So the final race of the night to decide the 3rd qualifying nation for the Speedway of Nations final is Heat 23, Slovenia and Denmark next. Here we go, the final race of the night. It's the final knockout. We already know Russia and Germany are safely through to meet Poland in Wrocław over 2 nights of the Speedway of Nations final next Friday and Saturday. Who will it be? Slovenia, will they go through, or will it be Denmark? Denmark with Michael Jepsen-Jensen in red off gate 1 and Kenneth Bjerre in blue off gate 3. And Slovenia have Matti Zagar in white off gate 2, who's got to look for his partner, Nick Skoja. A reminder, if you finish 2nd and 3rd in this Speedway of Nations knockout, you will win the race by virtue of the fact that it's 3 points for a win, 2 for 2nd, and effectively 1 plus a bonus for 3rd place, finishing behind your colleague. That is what gives you the race win. It's Slovenia against Denmark, and it's the final knockout to see who meets Russia, Germany and Poland next weekend.
Absolutely. Denmark red hot favourites here. It's been a long night for Slovenia. 8 times have been on track tonight, and they've been out in the last 3 races. Zagar having to work hard. Skoja on the outside. Got to believe that this is an unbelievable moment for him. Jepsen-Jensen and Kenneth Bjerre, all the pressure there.
Here we go, heat number 23. Great start, Zagar. He's got the trap. Now what can Skoja do? The under-21 rider for Slovenia. Huge pressure on the Danes here now. Jepsen-Jensen has allowed Bjerre around. Skoja's going high and wide into the dirt, and he's lost ground. He's getting close to the air fence, but he's gaining ground again now. Team riding needed from Jepsen-Jensen in red and Bjerre in blue. Bjerre's looking over his shoulder. They have to look after each other here in 2nd and 3rd. As things stand, it is Denmark who will go through to the final.
Yeah, Zagar brilliant away from the tail. Shows Skoja, well, he gave it everything on that opening lap. I thought he was going to run into the air fence. He somehow held on, giving it everything out the back. But at this moment in time, Bjerre and Jepsen-Jensen are going to hang on and go through to the final. Zagar's ridden brilliantly tonight. He's out in front, but Bjerre and Jepsen-Jensen doing just enough to go through to the final.
Yeah, Matti Zagar is going to take the checkered flag, but down through the final two turns we go, and it's Denmark who do enough by getting second and third, and effectively 3 plus a bonus against 3 for Slovenia.
Yeah.
And Denmark, that famous Speedway nation who failed to even make the race-off in the World Cup last year, have now made the final of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations. Well, it's a brand new format, it's something fresh, it's something that gives us a bit of variety on the world stage. It's caught 1 or 2 of us out, including a commentator, but we've had a great night, Kelvin.
We have indeed, and Denmark are relieved. I sense there's not... I don't know if they can be overjoyed. They've had to do it. They haven't been completely convincing, but in that race they did what they needed to do, and they will be chuffed to bits to go through to the final and build on tonight's performance. Got to say, Zagar has been terrific for Slovenia. He has really led from the front and has picked up plenty of points. And young Scorcher there, the under-21 rider, has done himself proud, and I'm sure the experience will be very valuable for him moving forward. A dramatic night of Speedway.
Just to confirm then the final standings, Russia and Germany go through to the final automatically as the top 2 qualifiers. Denmark win the knockout heats, so it's Russia, Germany and Denmark who meet Poland, and we'll see you all in Manchester on Tuesday at Bellevue for Race-Off 2.
At times they weren't quite as sharp as they would have liked. Race-Off 1 is done and dusted. We've got Russia, Germany and Denmark through.
Yep, and then on Tuesday in Manchester, so we have Czech Republic, Finland, Great Britain, France, Sweden, Italy and Australia. And so that should be great in Manchester on Tuesday night. We look forward to that, and we hope you can join us. Here come the Russians. Yep,
big
winners
night.
tonight.
They've got a good team as well, because they've got a good under-21 rider. Gleb Chuganov from last year's evidence and Lezhino, he was outstanding. And you've got to believe that no, it's a great night for Russia, and they'll go through with plenty of confidence to Wroclaw for next week's finals on Friday and Saturday. Germany have been a great night for them. One of their best nights as a team, I think, in their history. Kai Huckenbeck and Smolinski have ridden really well. Pepe Rudolph, their team manager, will be really proud to see the nation going through as in second place without having to go through those crunch race-off heats at the end of the night, and they've done it in style. And for Denmark, well, a sense of relief about the team, but as Michael Jepsen Jensen says, they've got it done and they can forget about tonight now and build on that and try and produce a performance in Wroclaw over 2 days that will see them amongst the medals. Denmark are accustomed to winning. They don't like missing out, but they're in the finals next week.
Good night though, Kelvin. We've enjoyed it. It's a new format, it's fresh, it's lively, and it all sets it up nicely for Bellevue on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll be more accustomed to it. There's a few teething problems. You know, it's a little bit slow at the end there, but we had one team riding 3 consecutive races, so inevitably it's going to be. But nonetheless, I think these 3 teams fully deserve to go through to the final, and I believe it's only going to get better and more exciting as the week goes through.
Thanks for your time tonight, Kelvin. I'll see you in Manchester on Tuesday. We bring the successful nations round now here at the Bergring in Teterow. And Russia win the meeting ahead of Germany, and Denmark qualify as well. Join us at Bellevue on Tuesday. We'll see you then. First